диаспора по всему миру. При том, что они дроблением занимаются. Ну, черт не знает.
Ну что,
Посмотрим.
здравствуйте, дорогие друзья. У нас сегодня второй день группы B. Хотелось бы, видите, провести трансляцию от лица нашей любимой команды, но, увы и ах, сейчас вот расскажу, что получилось. Вот, друзья, первая карта, да, Мирамар у нас пошел. Давайте я переключусь. Собственно, сейчас, минуточку, карту мы тут наладим. Не переживайте. И я немножко расскажу, да, по техническим вот тоже делам нашим. Смотрите, давайте мы посмотрим, сейчас проведем, возможно, то есть, как и договаривались, хотели-то от лица, еще раз повторю, твисов это все сделать. А организатор-то турнира, да, организатор, в частности, трансляции, нам как бы приятности сейчас доставил. В общем, не включили они сегодня, в сегодняшний день, команду Twisted Minds, список команд, от лица которых будет идти тимстрим, скажем так, да. То есть там они хавлов набрали и кого? Ну и азиатов по традиции. Поэтому весьма странное решение, если честно. Но как есть, так и, собственно, так и есть, да. Ничего мы с этим поделать не можем. Мы-то хотим от лица твисов посмотреть. Вот, смотрите, первый кружочек у нас обрисовался. Сейчас, друзья, смотрите, еще решим. Решим главный вопрос. Вообще, будем ли проводить в таком формате? Интересно ли вам будет? То есть, что мы можем сделать? Нам-то интересны только твисы. Ну, как бы твисы, там, да, КУМы, наши, короче, коллективы. Давайте, может быть, попробуем сейчас такой пробный эфир провести. Трансляции, еще раз повторю, у нас нету твисовской, но у нас есть стрим мэпы. То есть, да, прямая трансляция самой карты. И по карте, в принципе, ну, мне относительно нравится смотреть, в отличие от публичной трансляции, да, где вообще, как правило, азиатские вот эти все обсервы, да, режиссеры, они как бы игнорируют твисов, наших ребят, там, игнорируют куэмов. Вот, поэтому, может быть, давайте проведем, посмотрим, если будет вам интересно. Если будет у нас зрители, то я готов, в принципе, проводить трансляции эти. Если нет, ну тогда дождемся того момента, возможно, еще на этом турнире выделят специальную, да, такую тиммейтовскую трансляцию вот для Twisted Minds. Вот. Командную трансляцию, то есть чисто посвященную им, как это было в первый день группового этапа. Вот. Ну, так что давайте приступим. Пока я вот посмотрю, тут, не знаю, запись, не запись будет, не будет. Кто-то там из зрителей, имею в виду, что в записи будет ли смотреть. И вообще, если, ну, как бы, если вы слышите сейчас мой голос, то, понятно, я сохранил этот эфир, значит, в какой-то степени посчитал целесообразным его, да. Но, опять же, все от вашей активности зависит. То есть, будут ли те зрители, которые были в первый день. Но, опять же, друзья, не от меня зависит. Я был бы рад вам показать сейчас твисов, но нету этого. Зачем так сделали, честно говоря? Зачем сделала организация? Не знаю, не пойму я. Вот это глупо, на мой взгляд. Опять вот это все, там, азиатская глупость, да? То есть, вот своим командам все, причем команда-партнер не имеет своего там эфира, да. Ну, кстати, и у соников нету. Вот это странно, конечно. Причем технически там никаких проблем это сделать. Что хочу сейчас сказать, что хочу сейчас сказать. Сейчас определимся еще, что мне выбрать. То есть, смотрите, у нас как? Основная сцена будет посвящена слева, да, то есть в большей степени это мэпа, карта. Справа это, ну, Одескин, да, там проводит эфир, либо сейчас откроем просто европейский стрим. Мне просто у Одескина что нравится, что он как бы нету вот этих вот там хе-хей, там, да, хлопаний, там вот это все, улюлюканий, гаканий. Ну, мне не нравится смотреть так. Вот, еще сцена у нас вот такая будет, то есть тоже, да. Странно, что-то у меня сбросился эфир. Это я переключил, понял. То есть сцена, где, ну, видно общую картину, и вот справа небольшая карта. Давайте даже, может, чуть-чуть ее вот так вот, даже чуть-чуть покрупнее сделаю, с вашего позволения. Ну, собственно, смотрите, по таймингам у нас сейчас, как мы видим, вот здесь хорошо видно куэмы. Я даже вот, нас уже не интересует, режиссер, как всегда, там вафли жует. Куэма у нас заезжает в Ля Камбрерию. Твисы перемещаются к центру. Сейчас, в принципе, с ПЛМом у них, возможно, будет столкновение. Посмотрим. Тут, смотрите, у нас заварушечка. Вот в торнадо происходит, да, уже потихонечку рассеивается торнадо, и хавлы там, по-моему, как раз. Ну вот хотели хавлов, кстати, 17-х забрали там. Один из, двое даже в ноте у хавлов. Вот XB подъезжает, пробует достать. Ну, вот. Ну, то есть, смотрите, план такой, формат у нас. В меньшей степени меня интересуют вот эти все разборки остальных команд. Ну, только если, да, там, понятно, что в гранд-финал выйдем, естественно, мы будем придавать значение, собственно, как там дела происходят у конкурентов наших команд. Надеемся, опять-таки, наши команды покажут какой-то результат, да, там, серьезные места, чтобы можно было болеть, переживать за них. Вот, а так будем смотреть в основном вот на мэпу. Вот, Коэма, кстати, в Оазис там сейчас у нас потихонечку, но они занимают высоту, гору, что, в принципе, неплохо. Ну и давайте, друзья, я сейчас, наверное, все-таки англоязычную поставлю. Вот, я думаю, наверное, это будет все-таки правильно. Тыдынь. Это, извините, карту я открыл. Масло масляным. Сейчас открою англоязычную. D2. Ну вот они, видите, они громче как-то. Громче вот эти все аханье, оханье. Ну давайте оставим, ладно. Короче, если будут зрители, в чате напишите, что лучше же все-таки оставить. Ну и уже будем думать. Ну вот, собственно, видите, 17-е разобрались с хавлами. Вот, пожалуйста, сделали трансляцию для хавлов. Ну и нафига? Вот хавлы улетели, думали... Ну, то есть, если они, типа, как бы, да, организация исходила из того, что, ну, твисы как-то не очень им понравились, да, там как-то отыграли неважно первый день. Ну, извините меня, они знали, твисы всегда так играют. То есть, это их там тимстайл, да, условно говоря. Ну, вот вам хавлы, пожалуйста. Кстати, у Коэмов, смотрите, что происходит. Нам это, конечно же, не покажут. Вот понимаете, почему? Вот, ну, сейчас показывают, да? Бестолочь показывают. Давайте я так переключусь. Немножко мы тут карту вот так еще сделаем. Окей. Чуть вот так. Ну, опять нам не показывают, да? То есть, хотя там настрел идет. АПЛМов по КУМ, плюс там еще у нас ПМИ. Вот находится поблизости. Это у нас хайлайты показывают, которые нам вообще, честно говоря, не очень интересны. Вот. А давайте еще, знаете, что сделаю? Давайте я сделаю еще вот такую историю. У нас будет еще сцена мэпа только. То есть, ну, чисто, да, если вот только карту будем смотреть. Вот, и здесь я... Ну, сейчас поймете, что я хочу сделать. Надеюсь, никто возражать не будет. В любом случае, делаю как мне интересно, а вы уже смотрите, интересно ли вам. Потому что иногда хочется, вот, да, вот, карту открыл. Иногда будем смотреть вот только вот так. Все. Вот и видно, да, и твисов видно нормально, и коэмов, и в принципе хорошо читается, звук есть, и все, да, и как бы... Кому не нравится, как говорится, на выход, да, то есть никто никого не заставляет. Так, сейчас я еще тут кое-что поставлю, друзья, тоже, чтобы переключаться было удобно. Так, YouTube 3-я мэпа. Ну вот да, вот тут 4-я будет, а вот тут будет 5-я. Все. Все, вот у нас сейчас 4-я, вот у нас как бы комбинированная, у твисов там все стабильно. И от лица вот, да, трансляции официальной сцена тоже есть. Ну, давайте переключаемся, говорю, мне вот так интересно. И то даже можно, знаете, немножко вот так вот обрезать. Ну, давайте даже вот, нет, вот оставим вот так, чтобы чуть-чуть слишком зумировать не стоит. Кстати, смотрите, там сейчас 36-е едут куда-то в район КУМов. Посмотрим. Посмотрим. Твисов накрывает, кстати, торнадо. Вот, ну и кулемы, у них дропчик там, дропчанский, вот, Адоузи заезжает. Вот, значит, твисы, кстати, твисы выдвигаются ближе к центру, к ПЛМам они так вот передвигаются, обозначаются своим как бы расстрелом. Сейчас у нас новая зона. Ага, ну все замечательно, кстати, и для КУМов, для твисов. Тем более, кстати, у них там ангарчики не очень хорошие. Вот их бы и занять. Там, вернее, не ангарчики, а кемпы маленькие, да? Причем, смотрите, все-таки сплитуют и перфектика оставляют. Оставляют, чтобы подъезд, да, прочекивать, если будет кто-то проезжать. Лу на горе при этом тоже находится. Ну, перфектикс, правда, дальше едет. Ничего интересного, вот сейчас только единственное показывают твисов. Вот мы видим как раз. Что-то перфектикса стали критиковать, и, честно говоря, не понимаю причин для подобной критики. Сильный игрок, кстати, КУМ, кстати, переезжают. Тоже хорошую позицию на горе занимают, вот на северо-западе. Тут нам футов показывают, это нам... Ну, нормально у наших ребят, ждем. Как бы сегодня обещал Батулин камбэк. Обещал. Ну, посмотрим. Вот открыл я сейчас, открыл в том числе старую трансляцию. Они, видите, как хитро сделали? Они вот эти ссылки еще тоже, вы не найдете ссылки открытыми, да, открытыми трансляции вы не найдете у этих. Сейчас скажу. Короче, у eSports, папки eSports, вы не найдете открытыми ссылками, открытые ссылки трансляций чисто вот, ну, команд. То есть они делают закрытыми и выдают, типа, ну, своим, ну, киберкотлетам, то есть составу, да, тех команд, которые транслируют. Тоже зачем так, почему так делают? То есть это же, ну реально, знаете как, тут согласен я с Колей Одескиным, что просто гробят игру. Вот. То есть не хотят ее развивать никак. Ну и вот как итог, кстати. Кстати, там настрел идет. Сейчас давайте чуть вот так вот уменьшим. Вот там, ну это просто настрел наших ребят. Ну, остальные команды, то, что мы видим, тут не очень интересно. 17-й Хавлов, кстати, додавили. Хотя я почему-то думал, что... это показывает нам повтор. Все, понял. Так, еще вот так мне интересно тоже смотреть. Ну что, ждем, пока все как бы так. We've seen so much more from them in group stages. They are a team that really does like to start putting up points early, and a little bit of a slower start for them on day one, maybe than some were expecting. But I don't expect that we'll see them have two back-to-back low-point days. I would very much keep eyes on LG to be one of those teams that's ready to pop up.
Definitely, and that's the thing. I mean, even though we talk about edge and playing slow, that doesn't take away from the fact that a lot of these slow-playing edge teams are incredibly dangerous in the late game. Foot Esports, I mean, 17 new happy Twisted Minds. We have some of the heaviest hitters in this tournament, in this lobby. It's just due to their
странно. Почему-то не вижу трансляцию нашей трансляции не вижу. Сейчас посмотрю.
They will get them. They just happen 7 to 8 minutes later in the game. Like, don't worry, guys. At least 60 players has to die in this game in order for it to finish. Those kills, those highlights will come through. These guys, they just take their time.
They're very good at knowing exactly where everyone else should be and where the sight lines should be as well. Look at this split from Sixel, Toby.
Раз, два, три, раз, два, три, раз, два, три.
All the way up north just to Oasis, and now you'll see MML and Suze will have to come down and join them, but what a 2-2 split that is.
Сейчас, друзья. Раз, два, три, раз, два, три. Нормально все. Ну вот смотрите, у нас дроп, да, кружочка. Вот чисто дефолт, да, то есть мы знаем, что центроваться будет либо под ФОРМов. Видим, да, в центре они, это скриптовый кемп. Вот всегда стабильно там. Сейчас 17-й, кстати, остаток десантируется. Вдвоем, в принципе, ну, у твисов хорошо все. То есть хорошо, но единственное, надо вот смотреть в сторону ФОРМов, думать, потому что потом через water treatment, да, то есть через вот эту дорогу играть будет очень тяжело. Очень тяжело будет играть. Вот, поэтому как бы так, друзья. Посмотрим сейчас, посмотрим. Вот единственное, да, Доузи, надо думать теперь, что делать. Смотрите, либо туда сместиться, на скриптовый ФОРМ, да, либо под Азла. То есть, как бы, да, та самая зона, которая разыгрывается в рамках экстремальной королевской битвы сейчас, да, на клиенте. Вот, Джинджишечка там пио расчекивает наших ребят. Ну, вот как раз, смотрите, вот нам показывают тот самый ангар, где в экстремальной королевской битве. Тут сейчас у нас идет развал. Больше, наверное, команды Азла, PM'ов. 2 в ноте у Азлы и 1 лишь. Все, закончила. Закончила команда Азла. Вопрос с PMA. Отлетают они 15-ми в лобби. Ну, вот смотрите, вот почему я и говорю, что нужно смотреть карту. Вот, все видно. Вот сейчас видно, как Адоузи. Тоже, кстати, все хорошо, смотрите. Собственно, ребята занимают верхний кэмп, тот самый, да, который в экстремальной королевской битве по такой зоне играется, где, в принципе, сейчас прочекают, ну, все, там все видно, да, где машины стоят, где тиммейты стоят, футы потихонечку тоже у нас переезжают под ЛГшечку, да, вот около ангара, ну, вот видите, да, север. Вот, футы, кстати, тоже у них там все видно, как бы видят. Вот 36-е опасно, конечно, сейчас приземляются в разные места, не знаю, что они хотят. Сейчас вот могут потерять. Ну, вот видно даже, да? Опасненько. Опасненько. Я напомню, если кто-то присоединился, друзья, к сожалению, у нас, это не моя вина, организаторы не стали делать трансляцию от лица твисов. Мы что делаем? Нас интересуют твисы, ну и как бы в меньшей степени, но тоже интересует КМ, да, наши ребята. Поэтому мы просто вот как бы больше по карте будем ориентироваться, это удобно. Ну вот такую трансляцию делаем, чтобы не повторяться, потому что есть замечательная трансляция от Одесски. Ну, как я и говорил, друзья, вот абсолютный дефолт. Сейчас вот и говорю. ФОМ сели и будут сидеть. Кстати, КМы сразу переезжают, смотрите. Вот тут нам показывают сейчас... Нам сейчас ничего не показывают. Да, кстати, нормально переезжают. Расчекали, видимо, расчекали КМы, зону. Вот, но открываются под твисов. Сейчас вот как бы могут немножко попортить себе положение текущее, да, 2 наших коллектива. Вот, и обращаю ваше внимание, тут нам опять приближают вот это все. Ну ладно. Приблизили так, что теперь не видно твисов. Ну, вот вроде вот сейчас вот. Твисы тоже пытаются переезжать, по крайней мере, дуо наша с перфектиксом разведывает. Да, ну вот они вот сейчас на вершину, да, останавливаются. Это, кстати, хорошая позиция. Тоже можно расчекать, что дальше. Ну, а что тут чекать? Тут под ФРМ уйдет. Кстати, сейчас джинджишечки уезжают. Можно вот можно и сюда заехать. Это не ошибка будет, да? А куда они решили? Они решили LGC-шников крашить. Вот, смотрите. Да, кстати, прикольно. Вот так, если иногда переключаться, допустим, на общую трансляцию, иногда, не в ущерб нашим командам, то интересно смотреть, я считаю. Но если что, в чате пишите, друзья, пожалуйста. Ну, вот, собственно, джинджишники продолжают творить свое безумие. Когда-то очень сильный коллектив, да, уже года как 3, ну, 2 точно, в принципе, ничего не показывают, делает лишь глупости. Давайте опять переключаться. Вот Батулин, да, Батулин смотрит в сторону Куэмов со Спайра, Лу с Перфектиксом смотрит дальше. Кстати, сейчас смотрите, Сиксели, да, вот под ЛГшку уходят, на Нью Хэппи едут, сейчас вот печальненько может быть. Но они под в складку, там есть как бы дырка такая, да, туда уезжают. Вот видно тут. Ну, хреновое тут место, если честно, такое. Терпилошное. Ну, доехали, где-то там находится, да, то есть вот удалось им выжить. Что касаемо... Друзья, я вижу, если будет показывать наших ребят на общей трансляции, конечно, я переключу. Но пока вот вообще. То есть мы знаем, как любят азиаты. Вот почему-то у меня еще карта вообще опять. Она пропала на трансляции. Молодцы. Молодцы, молодцы. Вот они даже не могут, знаете, все, они выключили, они общую карту выключили, понимаете? Вот какой смысл, да, общую, то есть это даже не предпоследняя зона. То есть просто взяли, выключили общую карту. А зачем тогда вообще ее транслировать? У меня нет слов. Кстати, 17, они же отлетели, они пока первое место-то занимают, да? Потом мы немножечко по раскладу наших ребят, да, по таблице поговорим, какие есть перспективы. Ну, перспективы хорошие и у Твисов, и КУМов. Через, ну, то есть попасть в верхнюю сетку без проблем. Вот, напоминаю, что с верхней сетки в гранд-финал выходит только 8 команд. Остальные, вместе с остальные, по-моему, не 8, но сколько-то там, я не помню сколько, или 8 остальные с верхней сетки плюсуются. А, да, по-моему, они, короче, остальные 8 плюс 8 верхние с нижней сетки, ну, то есть имеется в виду топ-8 с нижней сетки, того 16 будет еще в Last Chance, да, в формате бороться за выход в финал, по-моему, вот так. Ну, вот, смотрите, вот, вот включили они, что-то вот тоже выключили, теперь включили опять мэпу. Зона-то ушла, вот как, собственно, говорили, да, еще в первой фазе, друзья, говорил, уйдет под 4М. Ну, это все... Твисы, как сказать, они вот такую зону играют... Ну, не уверенно они ее играют по прошлым турнирам, помню. То есть сейчас, в принципе, им... А что им делать? Им вот только вот через КУМов, сейчас КУМы оставят, вот где, ну, опять он, видите, решил нам приблизить. Приближает так, что не видно тех, кто за зоной. Зачем? Да, специалисты те еще, конечно, на трансляции. Опять обратно вернул, да? Короче, объясняю. Вот где ЛГшники, да, футы, туда ехать — это смерть просто. Имеет смысл, конечно, вот, кстати, сейчас ног есть у... Давайте, ладно, смотреть, что сейчас будет наши делать. Вот, кстати, у Адоузи Ферфис, да, у, значит, КУМов ног в ноке. Надо быстрее развесывать, зона идет. Что там у нас у Твисов? Они решили ехать крутить. И сейчас, кстати, они приедут в желтенький коллектив. Причем там на горе еще... Ай-яй-яй, опасно. Давайте, ладно, КУМов пока. Адоузи нокает Азла, сразу добирает. Там 3 тима сразу, да, с футами. Давайте, нет, все-таки хочется посмотреть Твисов, как там дела. Ну, у Твисов зоны это нету. Они крашутся, да, ВСГшников. Нам сейчас должны показать. Ну, покажите нам, ё-моё. Пока приехали. Первое дуо приехало нормально. Не покажут нам, друзья. Все, в принципе, приехали в ноки. Один наш сразу добирают. Не покажут. Лу добрали, но 3 тиммейта. Добрали еще одного, перфектикса, вернее, в ноке. Ну что, да, по такой зоне ничего не сделаешь. А почему ФОМов не крашены? Ну зачем ехать сюда? Ведь зона уйдет отсюда. Ну вот Батулин у нас живых, Батулина нокают. Перфектикса нокают, добирает. Все. Закончились твисы, вот так вот. Значит, КУМы оказались как раз-таки вот в том месте, где... Ну, Твисов, да. Твисов нам так и не показали. Понимаете? Это команда-партнер. Вот просто азиаты показывают в очередной раз, как они любят европейские команды. Только все лишь на словах. Вот наглядный пример. Ну нафига ехать за зону крашить, если есть кемп в зоне? Ну, можно же крашнуть, вот, пожалуйста, под этот батон приехать. С раскидкой также и там тусовать. Ну, один хрен там откисать, но за зоной. Либо, вот, кстати, в КУМы едут, ну, тут хана рулю. Да. ПЛМы. Причем ни очков не заработали, да? Твисы. Ну, 0. То есть, закончу мысль. Либо ехать за зону, крашить кемп, точно так же откиснуть всей командой full team. Либо ехать в зону, но попробовать не откиснуть, заработать там какие-нибудь очки. Понимаете? Но они пытались сделать то, что вот сейчас LGC-шники делают, да, вот сейчас в поле останавливаются, потом отыгрывают. Но тут все равно зона-то отсюда уйдет. Это просто, ну, временная история. Ну, я не понимаю такого. Так, сейчас я попробую распространить. Сейчас, друзья, распространю, если меня не забанят. Так. Да, печально. Видите, и КУМы, ну, немножко, как бы это, на второй, третьей фазе, чуть-чуть они, ну, просчитались. Ведь понятно было по такой зоне. Ну, то есть вот, поэтому тут либо крашить ФОМов, либо заранее готовить свой отъезд, допустим, под ЛГшку занимать вот трубу, да, где сейчас ЛГшники сидят. Вот. Я, ну, осознанно, друзья, не показываю эту общую трансляцию, но тут не очень интересно, как по мне.
Legacy's going to be off to a great start.
They have already held off a push from Gen G and Twisted Minds, two of the biggest teams in the world. Legacy is clocked in right now.
Ну вот видите, скрипт. ФОМы сидят. 0 киллов. Сидим на топ-1. 10 очков в кармане, считай. Просто. Приветствую, друзья. Ну вот у нас сейчас трансляция, как бы вот мы заканчиваем первую каточку, да, миромаровскую. Твисы, как вы сами видели, откисли. Смотрим мы по мэпе, потому что остальные коллективы нас не очень интересуют, да. То есть, ну и периодически вот так вот выходим на общую трансляцию, да. К сожалению, просто объясню для тех, кто вот подключился. Сегодня во второй день группы B замечательные организаторы отказались транслировать твисов. Поэтому у нас как бы нету, тут чудо не произошло, да, у нас нету ссылки, хотя планировали. Но по карте, по мэпе, в принципе, все очень хорошо отслеживается. Вот. Поэтому, если интересно, пожалуйста, я вас приветствую, друзья. Ну, давайте сейчас, да, наверное, на прямую трансляцию я вот официально переключусь. Но, честно говоря, не знаю, как вам, мне не очень интересно вот там, да, сейчас вот пока у нас не гранд-финал, смотреть, что там у других ребят-конкурентов, да, имеется в виду у других коллективов. Вот. Ну, досмотрим первую картку, да, а вторую, напоминаю, как и все последующие, мы смотрим со стороны вот обсерва мэпы, вот, потому что все очень как бы наглядно. Ну, сейчас видим, да, New Happy у нас, в принципе, в зону следующую. Ну, чисто стандартный прок, вот скриптованный вот этот кэмп, как говорим, да, в принципе, плюс 10 очков к ФОМ. Почему нельзя было твисам, да, крашнуть этот кэмп, хотя знал и Батулин, Саша прекрасно знал, что здесь будет звезда. Зачем было ехать за зону, да, точно так же крашить ангар, да, который находится за зоной. И как вы видите, смотрите, команда, которая развалила твисов, она сейчас просто откисла в поле, то, что планировал сделать Саша. И второй коллектив в поле мы видим сейчас, вот New Happy их развалили. Ну, просто все видно на карте, да? Вот. То есть, и все стандартно. Уже эту мы зону видели 1 000 000 раз. Вот, 1 000 000 раз мы ее видели. Но тут, если никто не крашнет удачно ФОМ, то побеждают они. That you can defeat 4AM's hard stuck position right here, and one of them is where LG is looking. They can come in from that side and hope that maybe Bobo and HSM are smoked off. Вправо зайдут, влево отойдут, опять вернутся вправо, побегают. Вот тоже, да, зона. И никто, вот все боятся, но сделайте себе дорожку, займите кэмп. Все равно будет звезда, там будет вот по центру. По центру кэмпа она всегда туда прокает.
Yep, I've literally never had the game prove me right so hard before. We're literally ending the game in the middle of this compound. You're seeing it right here. NH Esport has a chance, should their vehicle be intact still, to make a play up towards those Haybell stacks, towards the far southern side. They are going to be within nade range, yes. And you can see that's pretty much all the utility that 4AM has to work with. They have yet to have to take an up-close fight. Therefore, they can throw nades towards him, and I think that's what they're setting up for here. Make their way up towards those stacks of Haybells. The biggest problem for 4AM here is that there's so many angles that they have.
Да, ну вот New Happy решаются наконец-таки. Вот это грамотно. Давайте переключусь уже. Тут, в принципе, все. Вот будем смотреть уже тут. Понятно, да? Без карты. Вот это то, что нужно было сделать, возможно. Просто сено, конечно, это хана рулю. Ну вот видите, сено, вот и все. Но это грамотно сделали, очень грамотно разыграли ФОМ. Причем вот LG надо было выходить раньше. С другой стороны, видите, LG-шникам тяжеловато было, потому что ФОМы там буквально за 2 секунды развалили. New Happy. Если бы это затянулось, то LG, да, надо было проходить. Ну и все, за зоной, топ-1. Ну вот о чем и говорилось. Сколько раз твердилось миру, не, он не уходит за зону все-таки. Вот, доберет одного, да? Да, плюс поинт. А поинты сейчас всем нужны. Своего же слепанул. Ну да, друзья. 4 AM. Окей. Ждем, друзья, ждем второй каточки. И пока сейчас на музыкальную рекламу, да, перейдем.
even though it's true, 4 a.m.'s win was a compound win.
Definitely.
And they definitely got a lot of points off it. But I gotta say, a Legacy, New Happy, obviously LG, all the
Так,
teams that
вторая
kind of made it to the
каточка.
top 4 there.
Всем
Very
здравствуйте
impressive
еще раз.
stuff to start things off. And,
Что-то тут я вот
you know,
смотрю по карте,
you
смотрите,
can't really
как
fault 4 a.m.
любопытненько.
for playing the
Кстати,
game that was
сейчас
in
вот
front of them.
4
Obviously, they took the
едут в
compound
Твисов.
that was sitting available into Circle
Смотрите,
2.
как
So,
интересно.
you know,
Сейчас
they
давайте здесь
put all their
посмотрим.
chips
Батулин
there, so
Спайра
you can't take it away from them. But now I'm
не
wondering,
обозначается,
okay, is
пропускают.
4
Но вот
a.m.
последних надо
was
цепануть,
that
вот
a
этих сейчас,
compound
они
win, or
выжидают.
are we gonna
Смотрите.
see them kind of, is that the sign
Давайте,
to come
ребятушки,
that they're
давайте,
gonna
нужны
go?
очки
Is that
уже.
the thing that's gonna kind of get that confidence
Ай-яй-яй.
going,
Ой,
or are they
молодцы.
gonna get
И еще
shot
один.
out of the dang car
И
by
без
Lou
колесика.
as they
Молодцы,
make their
молодцы.
rotation?
Сейчас еще и
и
Бобо. Будет Бобо. Добирают. Запьяно. Там вообще без колес уезжает пикапчик. Очень тяжело пикапчику, он уже как бы на грани. Ну, уехал Бобо. Ничего, хорошего понемножечку, да? Нормально. Ну, решили ФОМ, что, будет дать, получается? Или просто забирает своего тиммейта? Да, Бобо, было Бобо. Так, карта. Сейчас, кстати, на Твисах там вот они расплетались. Действует буря. Вот здесь хорошо видно. Вот. Мы, кстати, покрупнее сейчас сделаем, пока у нас опять спит. Ну, сейчас нормально, кстати. Режиссер нормально. Так, ну и коемчики едут. При этом, что интересно, как-то вот упустили мы в начале. Перфектик, смотрите, где находится. Не совсем понятно, что он там делает. Собирает инфу, да, судя по всему. Ждем, друзья. Я так скажу, что, смотрите, если на просмотрах будут люди, ну, в записи, да, пока просто актуальности, я точно вижу, что актуальности в эфире подобного рода нету. Но если в записи все-таки люди будут смотреть, я по статистике посмотрю, то продолжим в таком формате эфиры. А так уж меня прошу простить, я лучше пойду смотреть Одескина. Вот. Не буду тратить время, силы. Вот. Потому что, ну, понятно, что такой формат, я так понимаю, что не очень интересен. Мне просто, знаете, почему не нравится общая трансляция? Вот я еще раз, да, повторю, что не уделяют внимания нашим коллективам. Вот просто мимо пропускают, там бывает просто разваливают там Твисов или Куэмы там, допустим, крашнулись и погибли, и все, и это даже не показали. Поэтому я вот смотрю мэпу. Поэтому у нас вот, собственно, и отличается, да, вот данная трансляция от всех остальных. Куэмы, кстати, крутят через запад, правильно делают. Перфектикс там все это смотрит. Вальпоза.
But curious as to why they're split this far. We are going to get an interview in just a short moment as we see question mark they're rotating their way on down 17 as well, trying to make a play. But now let's get a listen into Purple Mood.
Так, опять у нас карта пропала. Возвращается опять карта. Ну вот Коэма у нас заезжает в зону. Друзья, Коэма у нас в зоне. А Твисы так и сидят по соседству с ФОЭМами, близ пикада, но ждут следующего прока. Мы тоже ждем. Друзья, приветствую. Я вот давайте сейчас, пока вижу, присоединяются новые зрители, поясню. К сожалению, организаторы турнира, вот тоже по своей глупости, как я полагаю, не стали делать трансляцию от лица Твисов, как это было в первый день группы B. То есть мы проводили русскоязычную трансляцию, да, то есть нам нравится смотреть со стороны нашей любимой команды. Вот. Ну, вот, кстати, смотрите, что произошло. Это нам показывают хайлайты. Да, потому что я смотрю, Коэм это живут, все нормально. Поэтому, вот еще раз, да, поясню. в каком формате мы вещаем? Мы проводим трансляцию, исходя из стрима мэпы, да? То есть так мы можем видеть, что происходит с нашими любимыми коллективами, да, то есть с твисами, коэмами, то есть все видно, все наглядно и так далее. Ну и давать какие-то комментарии, то есть совместно смотреть. Вот. Просто я напоминаю, да? Так, ну пока у нас тут малоактивные действия. Пока у нас малоактивные действия.
I've never been in a situation where I've put down the deployable cover and just gotten run over, and I've never tried to run out. Maybe it's just something I've just never seen before.
My dad once told me we learn something every day, and now you can check that one off.
I'll check it right off. Well, now I know.
Yep, there you go. FUT Esports, again, as with everyone else, slow on their rotation, trying to find the quiet side of the circle to enter from, and they are very successful in doing so in this game. They're coming in through the eastern edge of Los Leones, and now most likely going to wrap their way further towards the south. Knowing FUT Esports, though, with where they currently are, I wouldn't.
Сейчас, кстати, такой небольшой контакт был у КУЭМов с Азла. Мы видим, да, на карте. Твисы так по-прежнему и в буре находятся, но что-то там с перфектиксом, по-моему, да? Да, перфектик, кстати, опасно сейчас. Вот рядышком ПЛМы проезжают, еще ФОМы находятся. Ну вот видите, у зона уходит, ФОМы рядышком находится. И вот, кстати, сейчас, смотрите, упарываются. Вот это сейчас надо смотреть. Вот это надо смотреть. Смотрите, упарываются сейчас ПЛМы, а в наш мимо проезжают, и нам это не показывают. Вот понимаете, почему карту я смотрю? Нам это просто вот показали ног, вот который уже, ну, понимаем, да? О, 2 нока, молодцы. То есть сейчас 3 очка будет. Шикарно. Аккуратненько надо зайти. Вот, кстати, тут бегунчики у нас, бегунчиков надо наказывать, есть ног. Сейчас, правда, доберут ПЛМы. Молодцы, молодцы, нормально. Пошла, вот уже пошла такая, как бы, рабочая история у твисов, да. Но вот все-таки доберут, видите, они. Сейчас, правда, если доберут товарища, то ног будет за килл, достанется нашим ребятам. Перфектис, что-то он там как-то запозднился, мог бы в спину сейчас ПЛМ зайти, ведь инфа есть. Вот смотрите на карте, да? Нам, конечно же, вот так, если покажут, да? Разрезываются ФОМы, но в спину заезжает ПЛМ. И при этом нужно уже перфектиксу ближе как-то, он вдалеке. Он там настреливает, но это очень далеко, вот смотрите. Ну, на высоте. Ну, просто чекает инфу. Инфу собирает. И вот бежит. Ну, согласитесь, с таким упреждением на такой дистанции, хотя что-то попадает даже. Просто может сейчас ответное прилететь в голову, и это ног, и лобби сразу. Вот про что я. Ну, пробует тут подпушить. Батулин со Спайра вдвоем, это правильно. Вот есть уже результат, ног по бабо. Это правильно. Добор сразу, да. Вот, ну и Хьюз, по-моему, да, его зовут, он далеко уже не убежит. HSM. Напомню, что последний представитель коллектива у нас сидит Crazy в Пикадо. Молодцы. 4 поинта на старте. Вот это твисы. Да, это те самые твисы, когда не страдает ерундой. Перфектик до сих пор синьки. Интересная, кстати, тактика. То есть такие затяжные расчеки, чтобы понимать. Да? Ну, показывает он нам реплей. Наконец-то. Смотрите, как прям вообще через листву залетело. Хорошая им. Ну вот смотрите, вот наконец-то теперь уже заинтересовали твисы режиссера. Теперь нам показывают. Кстати, смотрите, там у КУЭМов опасная ситуация. Кстати, добирают HSM. ГАИшники рядышком с КУЭМами, поэтому тут надо быть аккуратными.
Phase 3 is going to be upon us in just a short moment. There's a little bit of unplayable terrain in here that could impact Phase 4, but for the most part we
Перфектикс у нас на скалах выше пика, да, на севере круга. И потихонечку ребята двигаются в новый круг. Новый круг, в принципе, стандартный, центруется, чуть-чуть южнее уходит. То есть это будет что-то, наверное, вот туда под общаги и церковь, да, дефолтная зона. Ну да, скорее всего, туда она уйдет. И, собственно, видите, общаги занимают... Сикселы занимают на юге общаги, зная, что это будет. Церковь занимают LGC-шники. Конечно, твисам сейчас проблемно будет. Ну, КМам надо двигаться по Чумасеру. Вот. Друзья, там вот эти разборки, я не буду там ФОМы, сейчас вот тут ФОМ. Единственный килл тут зарабатывает при неуспешной игре своей тимы. Твисы крутят через право, в принципе, это правильно, но там надо с расчеком прям, потому что футы рядышком, ПЛМы. Ну, ПЛМы, кстати, может быть, есть желание и добрать. Напоминаю, друзья, учитывая, что у нас нет официальной трансляции от команды Твисов, то есть нам обрубил сегодня такую возможность организатор турнира, поэтому мы смотрим по карте, смотрим за Твисами и смотрим за КМами. Когда переключается режиссер на, ну вот, да, на трансляции на наших ребят, я всегда тоже переключаю. Ну а так нам не интересно смотреть, что там происходит у остальных коллективов. Если вам, собственно, также вы разделяете наши убеждения, то, пожалуйста, просим, как говорится, милости просим. Ну вот Твисы, в принципе, неплохо сейчас вот будут заезжать через северо-восток, там свободная зона. И КУЭМы, смотрите, КУЭМы занимают вот неплохой кэмп на перспективу. Вот это получается ангарчик. Вот туда едут ГЭшники, сейчас будут встречать. Надо, вот смотрите, крашиваться, надо... Режиссер, покажи, пожалуйста. Не хочет режиссер показывать, понимаете? Интересно, вот как вот сейчас показывает. Но мимо едут, они не крашатся, они вазлом крашнутся. Может быть, сейчас в третьем пати имеет смысл зайти, да? Ну, уже смысла нету, все, развалили КЕшников вазлом. А так, если бы затяжной файт, то можно было бы поинтов заработать. Давайте переключимся, что там у Твисов. Хавлы сейчас, да? Ну, вот Перфектикс, видите, в Солянова играет. Сейчас вот, ну, блин, опасно, конечно. Заезжает в бетонки. Но бетонки такие, там не расчекаешь ничего под перспективу. То есть вот видите, да, где Перфектикс. КУЭМы хорошо заехали, очень хорошо. Конечно, перспективнее. Ну, то есть мы знаем, да, что зона сейчас в юг уйдет. С малой долей вероятности это будет север, либо центр. Вот переезжают к Перфектиксу наши ребята. Тут, кстати, смартиры люминосити работает по кому-то. Ну ладно, нас это не интересует. Ну что, ждем. Кстати, по Твисам работают. По Твисам сейчас мортира прилетела. Нет, смотрите, кстати, любопытненькая зона, любопытненькая. Что это будет? Что это будет? Любопытненькая зона. Но это не New Happy, не New Happy. Интересно. Ну, подождем. Ну, там сейчас на обстрел вели КУЭМы джунджишников, которые чуть-чуть вот севернее от них расположились. Кстати, неплохой кэмп заняли. Так, у Твисов пока все стабильно, но они за зоной. За зоной, друзья. Еще раз повторяю, что мы смотрим именно трансляцию мэпы. Нас интересуют Твисы и КУЭМ. К сожалению, на официальной трансляции иногда будем переключаться. Ну, вот сейчас вот вы увидите, вот. Ну, режиссер игнорирует наши команды, поэтому будем делать так, как нам интересно. ЛГшники, да, сейчас представляют как бы определенную угрозу, да, нашим ребятам. Вот, там, кстати, десант идет у 36-х. Любят они прибегать к десантированию. Ну, покажу даже, да. к 17-м куда-то в рельеф сюда вот. Ну, это не ошибка, наверное. Там двое сидят в ЛГшке, правда. Твисы пользуются случаем, куда это будет, что это будет. Наверное, вот да. Дорогу вот будет занимать в складочке под церковью. Почему бы и нет? Хорошее место. Хорошее место. Вот, друзья, показываю, да. То есть в данном случае имеет смысл переключиться. Батулин только один уезжает. Вот это вот немножко... Причем без инфы. И вот я про это и говорю. Ног по Батулину пытаются добрать. Ну, надо ехать вдвоем, если делать такие мувы. Ну, доберут сейчас Сашу. Уж сколько раз твердили миру. Ну, вдвоем надо ехать. Ну зачем? Тем более на мотоцикле. Не прикроешься, да, не поставишь никак. И вот футы теперь вот сейчас вот смотрят. Но они не будут пушить, нет. Это стандартная тема. Слева, справа от дороги всегда у нас тут тимы располагаются. Мув хороший, только вот этот вот на прочек, на перспективу ехать на мотоке одному, ну просто вот терять, прошу прощения, тиммейта, ну безосновательно абсолютно, да. Ну ладно. Ладно, в целом пока удовлетворительно. Давайте переключусь. У коэмов там, видите, да, то есть в перспективе будет соприкосновение с джинджишниками. Ну и вот зона уходит под дорогу, друзья. То есть у коэмов нормально все, у твисов... Ну, надо ехать туда, где Батулин был. То есть, в принципе, я думал, что они поедут сразу туда. То есть вот не под церковь, я думал, что как раз вот туда и поедут, где Саша-то погиб. По такой-то зоне. То есть мы думали, она будет южнее туда под церковь, под общаги уходить, но видите, вот такой не совсем стандартный прок. То есть север-север прям, да, край-шифт такой был прям. И хавлы, смотрите, а вот хавлы сейчас, наверное, поедут сюда левее, нет? Нет, они вот под складочку на рельеф едут, под толканчик, да? Давайте посмотрим. Там не толканчик, там вышка, но вот под 17-х, смотрите. Ну, тут хаешечка, раз, два, вот и приехали. 3, 4, нет. Последний остался. Хилится. Ну да. Так, переключаемся. Твисы, наверное, на перспективу думают кого-то на ротации забрать, да? И зайти последним пати. Посмотрим. Не, я бы уехал сейчас под дорогу сразу. Ну, там мы видим, друзья, да, тут вот как бы у остальных команд тут файты, не очень интересно. Давайте за нашими наблюдать. Так, режиссер опять нам делают тут радости. Так, ну вот теперь вот Азла представляет опасность, смотрите, и для куэмов, и для твисов. Почему? Потому что Азла смещается туда, где погиб Саша Батулин. И у твисов теперь они вот как бы не выйдут. Не выйдут, им придется закрывать LCG-шников на спуске, да? Правда, Перфектикс едет на перспективу. На перспективу он все-таки едет туда, вот, занимает у дороги местечко. Будем смотреть.
Essentially the two teams that have taken over the spot that they were looking at. I still can't get over the fact that we have Crazy from 4M set alone in the northern compound. He's effectively one man holding half a circle, but now here we go, Legacy. Where do you go from here? Nate's already coming through. It's in the blue now.
Так, ну давайте, может быть, уже будем переключаться на официальную. Сейчас вот должны показать у наши ребята в зоне. Плюс, смотрите, КУМы сейчас пушат. Вот это интересно нам, да? КУМчики. Надо выходить дальше, надо активнее. Про вас 0 инфы. Зона опять, смотрите, край севера уходит. Отходят куэмы, такая не совсем решительная у них игра. Хотя сейчас, допустим, зажми куэмы и твисы с двух сторон Азла, и все, хана Азли просто вот развалит сразу все. Потому что тут как бы между двух огней. При этом теперь Азла, да, вот ног дает. Ферстик, молодец. Здесь ответный ног. по ферстику. Добирают еще один нок от Адоуза. Акада остается двое от Азла. Ну и вот видите, наши ребята твисы немножечко неактивно. Не располагают информацией. В принципе, надо заходить в зону уже тогда им. Но, к сожалению, нок у нас от Адоуза, вернее, у Адоуза. Добирают Хикари, добирают. Но надо разрезываться. Последний Аддар. Надо разрезываться. Причем двое, видите, как спокойно заходит, но с другой стороны повезло, сейчас забирает Сиксел, да, коллектив. Разрезываются полностью КУЭМы. Давайте переключаться вот на карту. Ну и твисы теперь будут встречать КУЭМов. К сожалению, не избежать контакта наших ребят. Друзья, напоминаю еще раз, да, что мы смотрим карту, потому что на официальной трансляции абсолютно полностью игнорируют наши коллективы. Вот видите, Бестолочь при этом сейчас нокается от Лу. Издалека, да, Драгуновым. Лу нокнул Бестолочь. Вот сейчас идет, вот тут видно, наконец-таки, два нока у нас сейчас вот со стороны КУЭМа. Батулин также в ноке, это еще с прошлых. Три, короче, в ноке у КУЭМов. Один убегает Данте. Пытаются добирают все-таки, да. И Данте, смотрите, точно так же Сикселы нокнули. И вот сколько получается? 3 килла, да? 3 килла достаются твисам. У твисов, кстати, приличное количество очков, аж 8. При этом можно было сохранить и Батулина. Давайте теперь переключаться, смотреть, как твисы будут заходить в зону. В принципе, нормально. При этом Нью-Хэппи смещаются. Сейчас, смотрите, будет замес 3 пати, Сикселов, 36-х и Нью-Хэппи. Неплохие перспективы. Вот там замес уже пошел, да, мы видим на официальной трансляции, но нас интересуют наши ребята. Наши ребята проходят складочку. Очень неплохо. Вот, честно говоря, даже можно пробовать и на победную сейчас заявляться. Потому что, смотрите, и джинджишки будут подключаться. Сейчас по-любому тут будет потеря. Потеря у всех составов, как говорится, да. 4 состава у нас сейчас одномоментно. Причем сейчас вот на официальной трансляции, вот смотрите, вот наши ребята накаляют. И у них высота. Если зона не прокает в поле, то это надо пробовать, да, то есть надо попробовать, как говорится, chicken dinner. Вот, winner chicken dinner. Вот сейчас надо выходить, смотрите, твисам. Немножечко они тут медлят. Вот сейчас просто ноки эти добирать надо, да? Ай-яй-яй. И смотрите, какая зона. Вот смотрите, заходят джинджишники, заходят-то в спину, нокают Спайра. Нам это не показывают, друзья. Отходят джинджишники, надо резать Спайра. Позиция-то хорошая. Немножечко провафлили здесь, немножечко провафлили, но позиция очень хорошая. Ну почему не резают? Ну понятно. Ну от зоны дымы прокинуть. Там просто хаешки полетят. Конечно, ног очень сейчас ненужный ног. Немножко растерялись, ребята. Не было инфы по джинджишникам. То есть смотрели только вперед. И не хотят поднимать. Хотя отошли, видите, Саньянг один только смотрит. Пытаются отрабатывать по другим коллективам. Надо резать Спайра. Спайра же дает информацию, что никто не шумит рядышком. Пушить не стали, гранаты не полетели. Но успеют, я думаю, поднять еще. Главное зайти там складки, перейти надо. Да, идет перфектикс. Дымить надо. Не хотят тратить дымы, может быть, вдвоем планируют отыграть. Туда, тут, видите, просто дальнейший переход, это через Спайра надо было изначально играть. Но пробуют на него смещаться, пробуют поднимать. Вот, смотрите, вот получается, да, поднять. Это радует. Зона нестандартная, кстати. Очень редкая зона. Ну, может быть, кто-то напишет в комментариях, не согласится, вспомнит, когда такую играли. Я не помню. Я помню немножко другую зону, когда она уходила так, западней, там под Толкан и дорогой. Вот там, да, между тоже кемп был. Давайте вот сейчас наших показывают. Ай-яй-яй. Но надо же было смотреть лево, надо же было смотреть джинджишников. Ведь понятно было, что Спайра они нокают, они будут заходить через лево. Но почему вот так вот немножко как бы, ну, позиционочка хромает? Ну, победная катка была, на самом деле. Смотрите, какая зона хорошая. Просто джинджишники очень грамотно, они вот половину зоны контролируют. Все, до свидания, весы. Рабочая карта, она неплохая. 8 очков плюс за плейсмент, сколько там, 2 или 1, да, по-моему, 2 очка. Но это же могло быть и топ-1, если бы еще и Сашу не потеряли. Ну, такие вот дела. Ну, досматривайте, друзья. Я пока уйду до следующей катки. Оставляю вас смотреть. Ждем третьей катки. Закончились твисы, в принципе, рабочая карта была, да, то есть неплохо по очкам получилось, но могли вообще топ-1 взять. Так что, друзья, увидимся на третьей карте. Смотрите, если кому интересно дальше.
Things to worry about. They've got 2 of 6 hiding in the smallest of crevices. And now, New Happy is going to lose CC108 immediately there to PO. 6 kills now for Gen G.
I love to see this. I love to see this. And it's a great example of how a team can play passive, play adaptives in the early game to then go out and completely dictate the flow of an end game. Gen G has this one gotten written all over them. The only way I see them lose this is either if NH Esports just finds some absolutely insane knocks, which we do know they're capable of, or if they let go and forget about E36 for a second. But you can see DJ98 is fully committed to making sure that no one wraps up behind them. They even sent down PO to make double sure now that no one is able to wrap around them from the other side.
Yeah, Gen G, they got to have those happy feet. Actually, New Happy able to get the res on the CC108.
It's huge.
That's huge for them, as the smoke wall going to be enough to prevent the sightline. You can see Songjang still off to the west there, has that high ground spot, that flanking position, but no real angles onto any of this. He's got to have happy feet. Make sure that he doesn't get spotted out if he goes down. Oh, look at that. New Happy. December 12th going to spot Sixel, and now immediately finds PO.
This is what I was just talking about. You cannot allow this stuff to happen. They have a P90. You got to keep them at a distance. That gun shreds up close, and even at this medium distance too. Nando force him return, and now 3v3. But keep in mind, E36 is still alive in this game, and because of what's happening, DG98 has to give up the angle below. The game is going to end pretty much on the cliffside itself. Whether the dot exactly is going to be downhill or up, I'm not sure, but safe to say that E36 still has something to say in who comes out victorious here, despite being the ones outnumbered.
Gotta say, whoever it was that got the knock on Non was absolutely huge. Was able to slow New Happy down, and they were able to get Gen G backed up to all 4. All reses come through. So once again, a full 4v4. Although all armor, all helmets are pretty busted at this point.
Exactly. Fresh free helmet, though,
that
still
P90,
for DC.
Though,
I think he actually got a vest of one of his teammates because he had a broken 3US, but he's saying, you're the one with the P90. I'm giving you my vest, bro. You are going to be the cannon in this one. You are who we put our faith in to bring this one home. PO now, again, on the ridge line. They know that eventually opponents will have to come to them. But NH Esports also, of course, counting this one. They see 10 alive still. We cannot just fully focus Gen G.
It's interesting. You look at Gen G, it's all 5.56, and then you've got New Happy with the P90, and then Ming Ming still holding tried and true to that barrel. So we'll see who will be the better AUG gunners.
I mean, if NH Esports can hold this one off for a little while longer, you'd have to imagine that E36 has to make the play on over. The first knock here, though, could very well decide the outcome of this game. Smokes are now being deployed by E36. They're wanting to stay chill for a little while longer, but blue zone nades are now being prepped as well as Sean Yang peeks on over, spots December 12th. But again, every single time you peek into this P90, it is with a live at risk.
Oh, CC, beautiful angle from the cliffside. He's going to find one. Can he find two? DG98 will find PO. Ming Ming will find DG98. No! And now New Happy, just like that, crests over the side of the hill, and Gen G can do literally nothing about it. They are wiped clean by New Happy.
They win! E36 swings around from below. You can see the laughs. You can see the joy on their face. boxes. They flew in when everyone was settled in the circle center. They creep their way on up. They play as slow as humanly possible, and they get themselves the chicken dinner. Look at their smiles. Look at the joy. A plan that should have never worked in a million years still brings them a win.
It happened so fast, Toby. It was just, I was so keyed in on the new Happy Gen G fight, and E36 just finds the perfect time.
Very, very clean.
Yeah, super clean. I like to see this, and also in general, like you have a P90, you have to come in with the confidence here. But a 3-kill win, of course, 13 points is gonna make it, but still super.
through. That is a very aggressive push, Mr. Sir T. You have 3 teammates with you. Why would you go in there by yourself? And now he is just immediately knocked and flushed, and now Genius down to just 2. Zest and Clories, they still want this. Fortunately, Mime now has arrived to provide support to his IGL.
I get the eagerness. I get that you want to clear them before the rest of Luminosity pulls up, but as you were saying, completely perfectly there too, you gotta wait for your mate. Zest is right on the other side. Push that building together.
And Zest doing just that, waiting for Clories. They're going to work the walls. Snakers has arrived now, though, so this has turned into a full 3v2. Not sure if Genius has figured it out just yet, but Rello already taking shots and landing some nice damage there onto Zest. Through the doorway and over the wall. The grenades will be following it up just off and outside of the doorway. But this is, I feel like this has got to be a fight that neither one of these teams really want, although they are fairly close to the center of the circle.
Exactly, which is what worries me, because more teams are going to be looking in this direction. This maybe ain't prime real estate, but it's really, really circle center, as you're saying. So there will be teams nearby here that will hear this commotion, and we're in a place of the tournament now where if you give anyone a free third-party opportunity, they will take it with open arms.
Once again, another grenade just fall just outside as Clories will sprays through the smoke. Won't find any love though, as LG just continues sending utility there, and Zest had the Panzerfaust in hand, but he runs right into a well-placed grenade from Rello, and now it's down to Clories. Clories has his Panzer as well. You always have to be careful. You have to know that this is a possibility. LG playing it slow.
Can't help but imagine that Glorious is ready to go down as long as it takes down LG with him with the way that he's currently positioned.
That's how it feels.
Remember those Panzerfaust, you want to have empty space behind you. Glorious fires, the only thing he kills is his teammate. Not what you want to have happen. But now able to swap back over to the Orc. Can he do this? He's a powerhouse fragger out of his region. He has played twice in Nations Cup, but a 1v3 against LG. Will it happen? Able to find the first one. Down to 23 HP though, and the peak comes around the corner. Rello finds him. Luminosity able to take out Genius Esports.
4 kills for Rello too, as they do end up losing Flood, but in the end, they'll trade 4 kills for Flood every day. But look at this, Legacy starting to creep up as well. We'll check in with Asla Pentagram, Akkad, and DG98 kind of in no man's land here.
Yep, sneakingly looking forward. I can't hurt the vehicle from DG. He's just waiting for him to hop back in the car. That should be an easy double headshot coming through. Should that be possible? But now let's listen into Howl while we look at Akkad.
Inches here. Spiro will be really has just not much room to work with. When Scoville finds one, it's a 2 versus a little bit of room to work with though, of course, and Perfectix will act as their anchor point. But a Panzerfaust from Lazar to open it up. Oh my, what is going on? Uber tries to crash on it.
Out of that one we go. Howl, of course, making their way through here to PGC as well. Currently set dead center right where they usually like to play from. This time around, though, the circle that the majority of the work for them as they loot right next door.
Pretty wide 2-2 split for Howl. We'll see if it pays off for him. This Pentagram, again, just trading shots. No real harm coming from their positioning here. Sixel getting a little bit close to Foot. Ooh. We know the Foot has been capable of doing the seat swaps here so far today. Lorena going to try to his hand at one. T-Bone returning the favor, but no knocks coming through, so just ships passing in the night here.
Yep, but esports just wanting to get rid of Shengli Shenglong altogether, saying you were the ones fighting us earlier. We are not going to allow for that to happen. Now, though, let's listen into these boys from Foot Esports and hear what they have to say about their current standings in the tournament.
Could have gone a little bit better for us, especially the last game was a little bit disappointing. I feel like we had a pretty good spot in the zone to get to like the late game, and we just fell apart basically. But overall, I would say it was like a decent day. Many talks. I don't think the mood ever really gets like too bad in our team. We're usually like just trying to have fun. That was like the whole point of why we put this team together in the first place. Just trying to have fun together and like play the best we can. I guess my message to Team Asler is we're also trying to avoid you guys in the early game. You guys can like rotate around us. Don't come too close though, because we might be popping some shots.
There you go, the boy Vard himself. A little bit of a slow day for him, but he blessed us with a nasty little 2-piece onto Luminosity, and I believe it was in the Vikendi game. If you didn't get a chance to check it out, go check that out, because it was a thing of beauty.
It sure was. Showcases the immense amount of skill that all these players have. It's just a matter of pulling it off at the right time, and he sure as hell did right there. Purple Mood setting up an E-pickup, getting ready for a circle that could potentially go far away from them. Great timing on it too, because they will get to see where this next circle goes before the helicopter is going to come pick them up. So should it go far away, they'll hop on. If it does come to them towards the southwest, they will just sit around.
I'm curious to see what they decide to do there. If they're going to send one up to do a little scouting while the rest of them are driving around, that might be the play. As we check back with Sixel, they've got a whole lot of real estate to themselves, and well, they're going to be a little bit happy because that circle does center up, and they are just south of Buxonsa, and they'll have their pretty much their choice of where they'd like to play in or around it.
Yep. See now, Twisted Minds, a early push towards the circle center again, not like something Twisted Minds would do previously, but there's only so much you can play around here, and they are not wanting to sit out on the edge with all those teams that they have seen in the previous games have been out there too. So trying to vie for something circle center early here, and potentially crashing full speed into Luminosity's compound if they don't stop soon.
Laza, some mini shots there on a Perfectix. Not going to find the one that counts, though, as Twisted Minds will get up into the woods. Kit tries to do the drive-by spray. He's going to find two. Xiao Wu and Suju go down. Nerf drive-bys, am I right, guys?
Wow, what a spray coming through from him from one side straight over to the other, able to get both of them down. But now here comes Twisted Minds as well, trying to hold off against Dazzler Pentagram. 2 players down already as they're looking for more. Hikari, Akad, the only 2 left alive, but they're caught in between Twisted Minds and Luminosity.
The hills are alive with the sounds of murder right now as Perfectix has about 5 HP to his name, but they are picking up 2 kills. You can see the kill feed is absolutely going insane right now. PMA will get eliminated by New Happy. I believe that's I'm not sure if that's the only team that's got eliminated here. Genius, PMA, 17 all out now.
It's as if everyone thought this is the game we try to go center phase 2 at the exact same time. The only team that waited it out was Foot, was Purple Mood, who is now coming in, and Genji, of course. Genji and question mark, you can never force to play aggressive early, so there's still sat edge side.
Yeah, Purple Mood actually finding a beautiful path to rotate right through Legacy and LG, although, oh my good, RBN actually finds Thunders out of the trailing vehicle, so unfortunately for Purple Mood, they lose one here. And that's a hell of a shot by RBN with that MK12.
I had a chat with RBN a little bit earlier, asked him because he has been in the coach seat for a little while now. I asked him, so what do you actually prefer? Are you more of a player or more of a coach? He just looked me straight in the eyes saying, Toby, I'm a great player, and that's just how it is. And you know what? Sure he is. Sure he is. Found one there with more points, hopefully to come for Legacy, who is currently set up in 4th.
Gotta appreciate the Legacy boys, man. You gotta appreciate the Brazilians. Every time, you know, we have the talent crew, we have kind of a usual routine where we go to breakfast and then head down to the pool. You know who's always out there by the pool with us? Those Brazilian boys.
Smiling, laughing, having
time.
a good time, and it's just, they're just good lads. They're just a bunch of good guys. See, in the meantime, Genji splitting the way that Genji likes to do it. 3 down on the southern side. Pio on his own towards the north, scouting forward, trying to make sure that they have people at a distance. Again, in similar fashion to what Foot said to Pentagram earlier. You guys, we know we're close to each other. Just go away. Like, we have no interest in fighting you. We will if you come to us, but please don't, because it's not going to benefit either of us.
Yeah, you're not kidding, man. You said it. The DG98 doing a little bit of scouting, but boy, the history of Pio doing Pio things, and he's all by himself. His Twisted Minds, they try to make their way through the hills, clean out what's around them. They're running into Howl. We'll see if either of these teams really want to engage fully into this fight, or if they're just going to maybe poke at each other a little bit and then go their separate ways.
Now, this circle shifts towards the west, and this brings me, I mean, instant anxiety, because we saw in EMEA a game end out into this field. End in the field east of Hosan. It was a mortar, chaos, and chaos galore. And speaking of mortars, they're already starting to rain in again. All these players will have to come down the hillside, and there are so many players up east that this can only mean chaos.
Yeah, Twisted Minds in a little bit of a weird predicament right here as they turn their attention towards Hal, but then as the Pentagram, the last 2 were there, but it looks like 4 AM is going to take care of that problem for them as they pull up here. HSM gets knocked low, but 4 kills now for 4 Angry Men as they spot out the Twisted Minds boys. We'll see if they try to engage here as we see now Purple Mood and Foot getting very close to each other, because of course they are, Toby. The 2 purple teams have to get right on top.
Sure do. But if you're Purple Mood here, you have to worry a bit, because Shengyi Shinlong is coming in from the northern side too, and if it not comes through, we've seen Zigzag be able to perfectly time third parties earlier, and I would not be surprised if they could do it here as well. Question mark in the meantime, not spread out that far, ready with their vehicles to push forward whenever need be, looking towards the circle, seeing E36 ahead of him, but not eager, I think, to make any aggressive plays this early on in the game.
Yeah, question mark just kind of clearing everything around them here. Legacy, they are completely content. Well, they were completely content in their compound. They've got to find a way in, but they've already got RBN inside the circle. You can see just on that mini map. Fortunately for a lot of our teams, we lost so many people in that one crazy fight in the middle of the, what was that, Circle 2 rotations, that it really opened up a lot of space here for everybody else to play.
Plenty of space. Issue is once, or if I should say, we shift off of this hill to the east, they are all going to be playing in the low fields towards the west, and that's going to be I mean, even yes, there is space to play, but it's not going to be easy because there's 2, maybe 3 dips to use. But the teams in the compounds, teams like E36 and up towards the north, you have Gen G, they're going to be able to see everything out in those fields, so you can't really take advantage of them at all.
And keep close eyes on this map because there's a number of teams towards the center that are just making their way through the woods, through the hills, and getting close to each other, but haven't really spotted each other just yet. Twisted Minds kind of right in the middle. They spot out Howl. And you've got 4 AM kind of doing the same thing, just clearing territory around the center just to give themselves a better idea of what they can play. We check in with Gen G, still wide split on this northern side.
I mean, again, we're talking about passive teams, teams that play very, very risk management heavy. Wait for the next circle to pop. Now it pops. I wouldn't be surprised to see teams starting to make their way further center already now because they know there's real estate left to take. Issue is these forests on the southeastern side of the map, teams don't know them all that well yet. So what angle are you exposed to every time you take a peek? Exactly where do you know what opponents could potentially see you? On Erangel, on Miramar, every tree you play, you know exactly what you leave yourself vulnerable to and what angles you have to worry about. Here, it's not so perfected yet.
Yeah, it almost feels like everybody's just kind of moving in these groups, either counterclockwise or clockwise, just
the edge teams,
scouting out, just jump peeking, jump scouting, seeing what they can see, and just trying to figure out what might be around them. As Sixel just going to go ahead and full-on send it right into the middle of 4 angry men. Lorena is going to be one of the ones that pays the prize. MML now down as well, and Boliang going to go down as well as Spiro. So just like that, Shenlong is eliminated.
Important for 4AM that they're able to do this cleanly because you see Purple Mood, as soon as these vehicles start making their way towards them, start pulling up. Now Foot is up here as well. As soon as the knock comes through, expect to see a 3-way fight pop off immediately off of that.
This is about that time where we got to start looking at that leaderboard, start looking at that cut line too. And it is very, very close, right around the 8th place. As you see Sixel currently holding it down, but they are out now with 50 points. We'll see what Foot can find. They'll find at least one here off of 4 AM. Fluky going to be the one that does it for Purple Mood.
And I mean, this is just prime real estate, but unfortunately for these teams, it is for all of them. All of them really, really accustomed to playing on the edge. 4 AM more so playing from the inside, but that's exactly where they're positioned here once more. They lose Crazy, but now they have to stand off against both Purple Mood and Foot Esports. And Foot, I mean, they've played this before. The former roster of Heroic were really, really known for, or the prime, I should say, of that, known for doing these sweeps, and here they are once more.
4 AM is trying to kind of gatekeep a little bit while Foot does continue that wrap. They'll find Tanawat. 4 AM wants to try to see if they can maybe third party onto this fight, but they're getting shot in the back by Twisted Minds as well, so you're not seeing them be as aggressive maybe as we were expecting as they had to pull back together.
Exactly. They know there are multiple teams around. You've already done the damage that you needed to do. Get over, get the knock, force Flukic run towards the north, because if you do, you're hoping that he's going to run into other opponents, and that can allow for you to third party instead of chasing him and thus becoming the team getting third party yourself.
There you go, HSM. Still looking off into the distance. Beyond, though, will find Beamy to open things up onto this 4 AM and Foot Esports fight. It's going to be the first knock that comes through, but you can see that mini-map. Gen G now starting to creep down from the north side, and they're actually going to find ZP on.
4 AM 2 know that there are multiple teams in this area, so they cannot fully commit to these sort of fights. Shonyang able to get the first knock, but has to fall off circle now. Howl. Into the open we go. Howl are gonna be joyous off of that. And Twisted Minds, again, a team who rarely ever crashes circle center before phase 4, did it phase 2, and now they get to sit around, laugh for a little while too.
Well, it's can't be feeling too terribly comfortable for Twisted Minds just yet, but they see the kill feed lighting up, so they have to know that the amount of pressure that they might be receiving from other places is going down. Here's Foot now back on the drive here to try to clean out what's left of 4 AM.
Already got a knock and a flush. They saw a kill come through earlier as well. Bobo is alive, but prone down, waiting for Foot to push in their direction. Forced to back off is 8C, but doesn't matter. Vard is there, finds the final, and that's 4 AM out of 9.
This is clean stuff from Foot Esports. This is European PUBG at its finest, just playing the game that's in front of you and plowing the field. But now Twisted Minds has started to push out, and they are going to find Vard. as QM actually doing the same thing on the south side. They run into Legacy.
Insane read by I think it was Phil first there to spot RPM on a wide flank out into the blue. A nice idea that he had there, but Phil first instantly calls the bluff and spots him on the side. He is going to go down to the blue because of it. And Snakers, as you can see here, trying to flex over, trying to get some more control as their compound has now been shifted out of the circle too.
A lot, big wide split from Luminosity here. Mime manages to hit every single crate in the drop. So they will have a nice little stack of loot for themselves. And they also have vehicles, so they should be able to get back together. But you can see Snakers just trying to take a position of where he can maybe third party onto this, maybe steal a point away. But QM, they are still looking for that last kill onto Gizera, but haven't found him just yet. Gen G, meanwhile, looks like they've avoided most of the fighting on that eastern side, but they're getting very close to 8C.
Oh, 8C has no clue that Son Young and his teammate are right up behind him, and that's going to be an easy one for Esther. Catching 8C, looking the opposite direction. That's going to be yet another one down for Foot. Just Beamy and T-Bone left alive, trying to get something going here. They know they have Twisted Minds nearby. I'm not sure if they're aware of Luminosity's position. They are now, with the smokes being deployed, of course. But again, trying to buy time, trying to isolate angles.
6 kills already for Foot Esports. Hell of a game for them as Gizera has been spotted out by Snakers. He's going to stay behind that tree as long as he possibly can. Most likely will end up going down to the blue, if not the guns of Luminosity. But T-Bone and the rest of the Foot boys, Rello, what immediately just twists over to T-Bone, and he will take him out. Legacy will go down to the blue. Beamy, the last one alive, playing the rock. Mime sneaks up on him from the bottom side, and that's 6 kills now for LG, 5 for Rello.
Solid plays coming through here from the boys in blue. The journey is far from over. They have to creep their way further forward, and this is when Question Mark likes to get active now. Philfus does get knocked, but if they can reset here, they should be in a good position to push further through. Issue is Circle is going further towards the open fields. Howl playing this one smart, not just sitting idle in the compound, but they flex 2 players out towards the western side. They want a piece of this action. They want to make sure that they get their opponents as wounded as can be before they get close to the compound.
Yeah, Question Mark being very, very slow and methodical about how they came around and took this fight. Looks like Luminosity might be able to get the res onto Rello, get back up to 3 strong. We'll see what happens as QM. Pure Boy actually from Enterfor is going to make sure that he prevents that res. So Phil First will get credit for that kill, and LG now down to 2 as they are pinched between Question Mark and Twisted Minds.
Christmas comes early. This time around, a little bit of cover where before there was none as Crates lands on the southeastern edge of the circle. But right now, I don't think anyone can really claim them. Twisted Minds can't fully commit south. They know that they have Gen G players in the north, and now Howl realizing the potential Gen G pressure as well as they fortify back towards the compound. This fight on the edge has to come through. Neither of these teams want to allow for Howl to engage on it from afar. No reason to allow for more teams to be part of the party when you can hit shots like this. Great shots coming through from Lou. Sylphia finds Snakers. That's Luminosity out in 6th.
I gotta tell you, man, we're getting into the late rounds here of group play. Match 9 out of 12, and Howl is sitting down there in 14th place with 22 points. Only 1 kill so far this round. You gotta wonder if maybe the play should better be just to go out there and see if you can maybe get a few more kills to go along with this first place, or do you just take the guaranteed 10 by sitting in the compound?
You said it there. I mean, take the guaranteed 10 and get yourself the win. Let these other teams do the damage. The 10 points off of the win, having to not really risk anything right now, is the perfect play. And as you can see, they're being very active in trying to steal some of these knocks. These are the perfect points for them. Risk absolutely nothing, but get to reap the rewards.
3 games left. They could put themselves in a great position to make that top 8 here. As a doozy will get spotted out by Lou, and that is Twisted Minds. 7 kills now for them, as they are also in a position to really make a good jump here in the leaderboard as well.
Starting to heat on up is Twisted Minds as Batulins finds DG98 with the first nade. Pio is already down. That happened way earlier in the game, and I think you could already imagine that Twisted Minds is well aware. They know they have a 4v2. They know that this fight is isolated from the compound. They have to take it now. Spiro and Lou sprays on through, finds the first. Now it's just Song Yang, left alive.
Song Yang, get out of that blue zone, sir, and yep, he will Wait for that smoke to bloom before trying to make the run. Won't matter though. Skullfeld from Howl, as you said, they're spreading out as very low risk, high reward plays here for Howl.
Now, I'm not saying that this is necessarily going to happen, but I'm seeing E36 still alive in this game. With 3 teams still up. They're still inside the circle. Now they're not. But you know what? I'm not going to count them out. They brought it home last game. Let's see if there's some Japanese magic on this map that can potentially get them something. But look at their position there, and they're only alive because Howl don't have mortars.
They are extremely comfy, but they are now leaving their little hidey hole. The problem for Twisted Minds right now is that they've got to come down from this hill eventually. Their backs are right up against the blue, and once they come down from that hill, all that tree cover is going to go. And Howl has multiple angles on this. So right now, Ruin paying attention over towards E36. That is the primary target. The shots come through, but nothing landing for him. And that is dangerous. You want to pull back away as quickly as you can now. Let's play a little tower defense.
He's the only one in that position to help to back off. I like the read. Yes, of course, not optimal that you don't hit your shots there, but at least realize you have to just try and accept the fact that happened. Go back, play it smart. There's still a game to be won. So nice readjustment there from Ruin.
Ooh, well, actually opened up a little bit of a room here for Twisted Minds to make their way down and at least get to the rock. Batulin should be able to be rezzed. They look fairly safe as things go, but definitely low on ammo as Schofield still trying to find a little bit of an angle here, but nothing going to reveal itself.
And this is the issue for Twisted Minds because they committed to the forest as early as they did. You saw 0 spare ammunition for Perfectix, or for Lou, sorry, make that in this game. I don't know if it's because you just gave it all to Perfectix and said, Perfectix, go out and do your thing, because we've seen him time and time again be able to pull off magic plays, but this right here is not looking good. Twisted Minds don't have a lot to work with. Pure Boy down to the blue, tried to hold an angle, but falls at the end of it. Nowhere for him to go.
It feels like Twisted Minds was in so many fights that
they haven't had no time to loot.
I guess not. I mean, maybe that's. It feels like they were engaging upon people pretty close to them, so that they may have gotten a chance to go for those boxes. But as you said, as soon as one fight was over, the next fight was already presenting itself. So not really a whole lot of time to do that. As you can see, Perfectix sitting on 59 rounds for that MK, and that's all he's got.
No helmet, broken vest, no smokes either. Probably the most important one right now. Let's see now. Everyone's going to be chilling for the next 5 seconds, waiting for that final circle to pop. Who's going to get it? Is it E36 in the fields, Twisted Minds in the hills, or Howl in the compound? Dead center, right in the middle. Everyone's got to make a play, but you got to consider Howl to be the ones with the upper hand here. They have not been touched at all. Fresh level 3 vest for Schofield as he pushes on forward with utility to boot as well.
Nobody has to leave their rocks just yet. There are several rocks that are a little bit closer towards the center of the circle, specifically for Twisted Minds, that they could get to if they had that utility, if they had that smoke. We don't really know what all of them are sitting on, but we know it's low here. Schofield trying to make that peak, but he has been spotted out by Lou. Look at that, 27 rounds left now.
This is where the Dragunov gets even scarier than it already was. 2 one-tap headshots, and we know these players can hit him. Speaking thereof, Sylphia able to find Perfectix as he falls on down. The deployable shields, though, granting Twisted Minds the cover that they need. But remember, they do not stand indefinitely. There is still not enough ammo for Sylphia to potentially destroy it, and that's exactly what he's trying to do.
He is indeed. They're going to need Lou to take a shot back just to keep their hopes alive here, just to prevent Sylphia from just free farming ADR onto their cover here. Batulin's playing around it with that mini. Got to be careful as well because, yeah, like you said, they are just beaten and broken as far as their gear is concerned. And yep, there you go. Sylphia immediately finds Batulins again, but they do find Schofield, and that opens up a little bit of a door here.
You can tell that Twisted Minds is just looking towards Interforce, going, truce, truce, guys, we have bigger fish to fry. Let's just deal with Howl and then fight each other afterwards. But Interforce 36, man, they're feeling it. They're not giving up. It was a nice push to be able to get to this position to begin with. But now, what do they have to work with? Not sure exactly of their smoke count. And again, I think that's going to be the major factor here. They need a miracle to happen in order to take out Howl, who is right now sat in a perfect position.
Yeah, E36 had again. Oh God, how many times has Batu been knocked here? Sylphia just cyberbullying him at this point. Every single one is a headshot, and Batu just constantly getting chain rezzed as they are backs up against the blue, and they're just going to go ahead and deny.
Fair play. We saw them all in the bottom of the leaderboard. They have so much to fight for. They know the teams here are the ones to claim it, and how? You know what? Had they not been aggressive earlier, this could have been the first 0-kill chicken dinner of the tournament, but it wasn't going to be the case. They all sat. Japan. Again, the Japanese team led by the Korean OG in-game leader Starlord himself. A team who arguably plays in one of the weaker regions, but a team that time and time again, and this year in particular, has shown us that Japan is not a region to be fooled with. They've already got themselves a win. They have great knowledge of making their ways into those late-game positions. I feel like they just need a little more firepower, really, to solidify their spot in the globals.
Yeah, I mean, look, you saw it in the clips there. They are mechanically gifted, to be sure, so they have some firepower. They've just got to figure out how best to go about using it, how to engage in these fights in such a way where they don't lose anybody. That's the biggest problem, it feels like, with them, is every time we see them fighting with somebody, they're not coming out of any trades cleanly.
Watching Pentagram here as well. And you know what? While we're at it, while everything's just quiet down for a second, let's listen to Hikari and see what he has to say about his current performance.
로 마무리한 성적은 많이 아쉬웠던 것 같아요. 솔직히 저희가 1, 2라운드 치킨을 먹고 나서 충분히 오늘 하루 1위로 마무리할 수 있었지만 그렇지 못했던 게 좀 많이 아쉽습니다. 전부 다 저는 경쟁력이 있는 팀들이라 생각하기 때문에 새로운 환경에 좀 적응만 잘하면 저희랑 비슷하게 좋은 모습 보여줄 수 있을 거라 믿고 한국팀을 같이 응원하고 싶습니다. 저희가 비록 5번째 한국 시드로 올라오긴 했지만 저희가 그래도 열심히 하고 있으니까 많이 믿고 응원해 주시면 좋은 성적 보답할 수 있도록 다 같이 열심히 할 수 있도록 하겠습니다. 같이 인원 손실 내지 말고 끝까지 살아남아서 후반에 봤으면 좋겠습니다.
Well, while it may not have been as barn-burning of a start for Asla Pentagram, they have performed extremely well today, earning that second-place spot for themselves overall, 72 points. And so far in this game, they have 1 loss, and they are in a pretty decent position doing a little farming from the edges here.
I'm looking at this map right now, 17 seconds away from phase 2 popping, and I'm just going to say, if we go north on this one, we're entering terrain that I've never seen. I don't think others have either. I'm seeing for these sports, and I'm seeing Lorena with the Panzerfaust, but I think they might have caught one of them behind a vehicle there, because they instantly, as soon as you saw Lorena peeked for info, they instantly swung, and we actually headed towards the north again. I know a little of this map. I've been up here. I've played through it. But there are going to be dips that have still yet to be found. There are going to be compounds that have still yet to be coined. Where, oh where, my friends, are you planning on playing this one from? Because one thing's for sure, all these edge teams will now only have half the circle to rotate in from. Because north is just the icy frozen tundra.
I tell you what, man, the only thing I'm working with here is some experience dropping up there to loot when we were playing slow a couple of times. I've never seen anything end up here. I've never watched any pro games that have ended up here. It's not a complete mystery, but it is going to be interesting to watch this one play out, as you see Legacy having to stop down here a little bit as they lose a couple of tires. I'm not sure if that was Twisted Minds that did that, or if Twisted might be just the beneficiaries of a broken down Legacy here.
See, PMA, again, the team who hasn't really gotten things going are probably destined for the losers bracket, but if there's a time to make a dent in it, now would be it. They would need 3 consecutive amazing games to make their way on through. But I said it before, Edge is going to be difficult to maneuver towards, yet they do it regardless. Foot Esports trying to make their way on up here. HC spotted in the open, and Zeus spends no time taking him down.
HC taking one for the team right there, really, is he spotted out Sixel just kind of hanging out on that coastline, ready to spray down his transitioning teammates. And he tried to pull up and see if he could maybe pull them away, and ends up paying the price.
Huge read by Shenyi Shenlong as well. They set up an initial ambush that Foot actually read. They saw them coming around. They push all the way out easy. Say, great, they dodge us. We take them on again.
Actually, looks like that fight might not be over, but right now we're checking in with Twisted Minds. There you go. Foot Esports, they passed by, but they came back to try to save their teammate. And in the end, Suze is going to be the one that does the damage, as Beamy will go down, Itzy will go down, and now Foot Esports down to just T-Bone and Vard.
Again, you can't wrap around a team that's wrapping around you. It's the Edge Fiesta here in Group B, and it's continued. Foot Esports, they have run into trouble in these Vikendi games before, and this one is going to be no different. They did come out victorious yesterday, but in the EMEA region, they're not accustomed, or unaccustomed, I should say, to losing a player or two in the early game.
Checking in with E36. We talked about them a little bit earlier. A lot of firepower on the squad, mechanically gifted players, and I'll tell you a little bit of a replay here is Bobo picking Howl right out of the driver's seat, and man, he is making that mini do work right now.
Young gun out of China. He has plenty of years of competitive PUBG yet to play, and I'm sure that we're far from seeing the best of what he's going to be able to deliver.
Well, meanwhile, Twisted Minds still just kind of in shambles right now, but somehow keeping everybody alive. This is obviously not the greatest position for them to play, and there you go. They're going to finally lose Perfectix after a nicely placed grenade from Tian. Now Foot Esports check in with them again, down to 2. Vard all by himself. It looks like they're leaving T-Bone on the coast up to the north. Vard getting the high ground, just waiting to see where the next circle goes, and it's going to go pretty much where we thought it would, right on top of land.
Straight down towards the south. And you say right on top of land. I say right on top of frozen water.
Frozen
this
water.
is a massive frozen lake that
you can walk on it. It's
by
land.
the way, well, I mean, yeah, that by the way does not get shifted away from in phase 4. So question mark is not guaranteed a circle shift here. This one can go pretty much anywhere. The Renner scouting with a Panzerfaust in hand. Do they see T-Bone? They have Foot Esports players split wide, but as you said before, there's just 2 of them left alive, and I don't think that Foot has any interest in taking this fight. They know it's Shen Li Shenlong. They know that their force still up. Might as well just let him pass, let him get the circle center. Maybe you can find some third-party points should a fight happen between Sixel and Luminosity.
Uh-oh, this is kind of scary stuff here for LG. They were in a 2-2 split. They see Sixel pulling up, and they've got a guy hanging out of the passenger side window with a Panzerfaust. That's not really what you want to see coming. Fortunately for them, Sixel will go ahead and pull off. The shots from LG will be enough. And we'll see what LG decides to do if they still stay in this 2-2. And T-Bone maybe thinking about a little bit of revenge here.
Yeah, I mean, would be a great little punch in return to be able to take him on again. Foot, they are by no means safe in terms of their standings right now. Neither are Shen Li Shenlong, so both with plenty still to play for, both with good reasons to try and just leave each other be and play this one smart. Starlord, I saw it just before on the map feed. He actually flew up for info. He took an E-pick up by himself, went back towards his teammates. So Perfect Mood caught him midair, and that's him instantly down.
Look at this. Lorena wants to use that thing so bad. I kind of want him to. Hikari will take out the bear. Shouts out in chat, throw your F's out for the bear as he goes down. Look at this. He wants to use it. He wants to use it so bad. He's like, I've been practicing this thing, man. Please let me use it. They'll go ahead and spray down T-Bone's vehicle, but that's going to be about it. Oh, December 12th actually spotting out Boleong. That'll be a quick and easy res. Is New Happy pushing this? They're in vehicles.
They're in cars, but I think they got more to play for in the circle center. Wait this one out. See if you can get the flush. Not going to happen. Little Ghost will spot T-Bone. That is once again Foot in trouble. They played a phenomenal Vikendi yesterday. Came out victorious, but this is going to be them down and out in 15.
And there you go. Vard, yep, spotted out by Nan as well. So, as you said, down and out in 15. Phil First is going to find Esther, as there's a number of long-range fights going on right here, but the most close one is Gen G and 4 AM, as they are just playing around the smokes right now, as Pio will find 2 with the grenade, finishing off 1. Songjiang will go down to Crazy, but Bobo and Crazy now the last 2 up here for 4 AM, as they are playing around some wide open territory, just hoping that the smokes stay up.
24 bullets total is what Bobo's got to work with. They had to leave their compound early to help HSMM when he was fighting Genius, and that's why they're low on ammo. You see here, Crazy does get the knock on PO. If they can find DG as well, that would be huge. There are still players left to be rest on the side of Gen G, but DG98 has to make magic happen, and he has to do so right here, right now.
And Gen G, the wide split, and they just end up getting picked off 1 by 1. And just like that, Gen G out in 14th. And now who's going to be next? New Happy. They're ready for it. The shots come through from CC 108, but he's got to move once again. December 12th gets Lorena, finally got to use it. He's been wanting to do all this time, and now New Happy. They're going to lose a couple here. There's just what is going on here. Sixel, New Happy, Luminosity all on this north side, and you got a Storm that's eventually going to be starting off here.
We all dislike this Blizzard, but Sixel could not have had it timed any better for them. They finally get the kill. Luminosity was looking their way. New Happy was as well, but now they're in cover at least for a little while. Sushu able to find Ming Ming as New Happy tries to make their way to safety on the southern side, but that city is already taken, or the observatory I should say, it's already claimed by other teams. And Purple Mood now trying to fend off against Enterforce 36, found the first, will find the second as well, but Sylphia might still have something to say, but he's a solo player left alive on the team.
Oh yeah, I don't know, man. E36, it felt like Pure Boy was the one in the best position to do something there, but there you go. Sylphia gets spotted out by Duckmans, and the crowd goes wild. See if they can get the res onto Thunders? I don't know. The blue zone is pushing in.
They will have to be fast about it though, because look down towards the south. Look at how much space Legacy is taking off of this. RBN playing it really, really smart and getting up on the hillside. They're effectively playing both sides of the riverbank here. They're playing both east and west, and RBN flexing out, trying to get some more space, trying to make sure that Purple Mood cannot wrap south around into them. Really smart playing here from Legacy.
Yeah, they're putting some good pressure down. Fluky gonna make sure that they duck their heads back down to Sixel. Oh no, that's not where you want to pull in. That is Occupado. CP Yan will be the one that gets it, and that's 6 kills now for 4 AM as they are showing once again they are hot today.
Xiaopian told me today coming into it, I said, what are you going to do differently? He said, we don't have to do anything differently. As long as we get off to a good start, we're going to get going. They won the first game, and here they are looking pretty good.
That is how a snowball gets to roll in the Mad. Trying to trade with Luminosity. Flood very low, though. That is a dangerous peak battle to take. And they're just waiting for the... Oh, actually, it's going to be Batulins from behind finds Laza. And Hal getting pinched a little bit here. LG getting a little bit of a reprieve.
I've seen the trailer for the new Napoleon movie where they all fight on a frozen lake. Well, we're about to witness that right here, because this circle has just swung straight into the frozen waters. And right now it's just Twisted Mind sat in the middle of it. Dogmans might die if he goes for that rest, and indeed he did, and indeed he does. We'll see that Nate should get the flush on him too, so it's just going to be Thanawat left alive.
Pentagram up in second place. I don't think anybody would have predicted that coming in. Man, they have been putting on an absolute show here so far through 2 days. As you see, Legacy in that kill feed putting pressure onto PMA. Satanawa, as you said, the last member for Purple Mood. Azel Pentagram going to leave him to his own devices as they move back up to the north. They've got more important things to worry about. Luminosity now on the move once again. They have one left to take care of here from Howl. But they also realized that I think Twisted Minds was taking shots from that island. So you talk about Napoleon, that's I guess where Twisted Minds is hanging out, which would be Elba.
Yeah, they're doing what they can, to stand off as strong as possible. But of course, well aware that if just one knock comes through, you'd have to imagine that's a pull-up to follow. Everyone knows that Perfecting started early game because no one else was fighting at the time, so that's going to be info fed across. But right now, they're able to sit tight and allow for Chaos to commence around them. And Chaos does indeed do just that.
Yeah, you can see that kill feed just lighting up here as Pentagram going to try to make the push into PMA. Off the knock. Gets knocked low, but Wicked is going to be still alive here. The smoke's staying alive. We see PMA trying to hold strong. It's down to just Tian. It's down to just Wicked. It's a 1v1 for the final spot here. Tries to go for the res. And meanwhile, we're going to jump over to Luminosity, who try to push into 17.
Everyone out here fighting in the open, trying to play it smart, but simply impossible to claim anything as long as you still have question mark up high, as long as you have Legacy on the southern side trying to take a close quarter fight. It's going to get third party. Know where you play. It's going to be a place you can play safe, and you can see now Xiaobei. Oh, it's going to get the first hit off in time. I'm not sure he will. No, Lu with the utility, able to fend off. Twisted Minds does does this usually from compounds. They will do everything they can with utility to keep people at a distance. It's working for them, but here comes Question Mark.
Question Mark saw the kill feed. They know that this is very, very available here. They just have to clean out what's left, and they've got enough blue zone grenades to do it. And look at that mime just on the outside will stay alive. Question Mark, do they know where he is? Do they think they've cleaned this thing out? They've got so many smokes laid down, though.
Phase 5, 13 alive. Never had I thought I'd live to see this day as we swing further into the frozen lake. Bobo from 4 AM somehow still alive. And look at this, the fight through the smokes. No, it's not a snowstorm, but Mime has got the perfect outfit on to stay alive. Adusi, though, does spot the nade coming through, but Vilfast gets confirmed.
Oh. I thought he might have gotten Dante with that one too. That was a very cheeky nade there from Mime. Meanwhile, Legacy's been hanging out on this southeastern side. They're still 4 strong. They've spotted out 4 AM Bobo. They know he's hiding behind this rock. They're going to try to clean this up, maybe get that last point. Brazilian drive-bys are a thing of majesty and history as they now collect their 7th kill. QM though, look at this, 10 kills, and they are farming.
They wanted more firepower on the team. They brought on Bestelog, and he is here to deliver. He's the solo player sitting up high, trying to look over the shoulders of Adusi and Dante, but now also tasking himself with completely denying Legacy entry to the circle. He takes out 3, and now it's just Gazera left alive. What a solo play from Bestelog, who's effectively a man on an island in the hills.
Beautiful positioning by him to make sure he had that alternate angle as RBN will get finished off by Tante. Gizera still alive for Legacy. Bestelog now up to 7 kills. Hopefully you picked him up on your fantasy squad. He's going to be getting you a little bit of something. Now the question is, can QM get those 5 extra points in fantasy for survival? Get the 10 for themselves in the overall leaderboard.
Twisted Minds looking very good. They're already fully in the lake, and this is the thing. Bestelog has to get down here too. Gazera still pissed off that his teammates were killed on what looked to be a pretty clear-cut rotation.
It was so clean.
Exactly.
They were 4 alive, Toby. They were going to clean 1 guy from 4 AM, and 3 of them go down to Bestelog. Unbelievable stuff.
Unlucky to say the least. No smokes to work with. He's going to try and heal his way through it, try and be effective for his team for as long as can be. But of course, Question Mark at 6-7, not guaranteed to make grand finals, or winners bracket, I should say, yet either, even if there's still 2.5 games left to play. So best of luck. He's going to do what he can, stay alive for as long as possible, because if Legacy's player falls, he might just be able to full speed send it down that hillside.
Feels like last game we saw that Twisted Minds train start rolling in the right direction, and now they are set up to possibly get the win here in this next game, as Bestelog will go down to the blue. Gizera all by himself on an island to the south, and Twisted Minds sitting in 10th place right now. This could be absolutely huge for them. With 2 games remaining, they could position themselves in the top 8.
I want to see the circle go south. Gazera has 4 bullets. I just want to see what impact he gets to have with 4 bullets sat on his own, and it does swing down. In all fairness, kind of the best place it could go. No one's in, but the very edge of Twisted Minds kind of crater in the middle of the icy lake is still in. Question Mark, you're the ones who have to make a play. Do you swing east out into the open tundra? What's the plan here? One thing's for sure, there's crates, utility, helmets, ammo, you name it, galore. This sunken fisher boat is just a buffet for loot.
I'll tell you what, man, we haven't really gotten a chance to focus too heavily onto Legacy today, but they've been having themselves a hell of a day here again. That's back-to-back, just securing themselves this third place position. They have just had a nose for the late game. They're finding kills. They are playing fantastically here. Let's see if they can get at least a 2nd place off of this. As you said, Gizera, not really a whole lot in the way of bullets to go here, but he's got spunk. He's got gumption.
Had it not been for Bestelog too, they would have looked very good from that southeast rock, but not to be.
Brutal.
Not to be. This looks to be a EMEA fight for 1st place, as Gazera now does make his way out into the open. He has a little bit of a snowbank to throw behind, but Spiro, a little bit of a parting gift. Yes, you made it to the circle, but we're coming for you.
And now QM actually going to try to send it here. The spray coming through the smoke clouds. Lou will get him down low. They're sending, I think they might be sending that over to near where Gizera is. They've got a little bit of a hill to work with. Gizera going to get another point there off of Dante, or at least gets the knock. Hasn't been able to flush him just yet. A doozy couldn't make it all the way to his teammate as they were just getting sprayed down, and this might be a kill stealed away. Oh no, Gizera gets it anyway. There you go. Good stuff from him. QM tries to get close enough. He gets doozy too. Gizera, you absolute maniac. He found some bullets. Doesn't matter though in the end. Twisted Minds will clutch out the victory.
Even Batulins is shaking his head. They were not expecting that when they went up there in early phase 2 that they would have to fight their way through. They lost the first player, I believe, of the game in Perfectix, and yet they hungered down and claimed themselves a win. Second place, now into first place. Looking good for Twisted Minds.
But a great game from Question Mark nonetheless. Lest we forget, Bestalok 7 kills before he eventually goes down to the blue, and he ends up ruining Legacy's game there. But my God, Gizera trying to do his best to pull it out of the grave, didn't he?
He got his revenge. He got his revenge. Took down the remaining players on the side of Question Mark. And now let's hop on over to the desk and allow for them to break down the final Vikendi of the PGC 3 group stages.
Twisted Minds finally gets that chicken dinner they've been looking for, and I love seeing them go over to Lou and make him feel a little bit of hype because he has been playing very, very well today. Congratulations to them. It's time to look back at the Game 4 highlights. Let's do it.
Yeah, what a game for Legacy as well. Being able to clutch that multiple times, like where you're like, okay, these fights, these kills that they've been getting, really good to see them. And in general, a rough match here. This northern circle here is always a hard one, especially on that ice lake there. I felt, though, the divots and the small cracks in the ice there, that could have accommodated more people, but Twisted Minds were able to defend it extremely well.
I think Poro put it best. This is an area, because of the way it happens, that you're not spending a lot of time in casual games. You're not spending a lot of time here in ranked because it's so far north. So I think maybe some teams might have been less familiar with exactly where those cracks and crevassiers are. But it was hard to see. You know, you have to pass the crevasse, EA, and you got to find the right place to lock yourself in. And I like Gizera. Gizera did that. He held a good spot. He moved to a rock that I think no one expected to be in, and managed to get themselves all the way to second and forced QM and Twisted to make a tough choice. Question Mark, after removing Luminosity, did a great job doing that, and then didn't have a lot of options.
Yeah, Legacy, they could have gone later. They could have taken the spot that Gizera's in later, and Bestalok's, he would not have had his spot, right? So, yeah, huge game for Twisted Minds, though. This is what they needed. Back-to-back good games for them, puts them into a really, really solidified spot here in the top 8. So let's see if they can hold on to that top 8.
Absolutely. Welcome back to the desk. My name's Thomas. I'm joined by Avenger here. I know that, again, let me put it this way. Vikendi seems to be delivering, right? It's not...
It's entertaining.
The Polar Bears are fun to look at the start, but they're not difference makers. What's a difference maker on Vikendi is the terrain, and I think a lot of the teams, not say inexperience, but really unfamiliarity with some of these extreme circles. Because remember, the first day we got a crazy south circle, and now here we are over on the north side, sort of experiencing something new with the frozen lake.
Yeah, exactly. And I gotta say, it's been entertaining. It's good to watch. It's challenging the players and the teams in general. And that's something I like, these kind of curveballs, because the teams here, their knowledge on the maps is primarily in the 3 other ones. Vikendi is the least known, especially in a high level like this here. So these areas here, and you can see maybe that's what we saw from Legacy. They didn't expect a player up from Bestalok's position to have that angle, so they went early. They thought it was going to be free because it was on the exact opposite side. But Question Mark gets 12 kills. That's impressive.
So while they did not get that chicken dinner, they will most likely be up there on the top of that board. They played very, very well. They dug out, as Toby called it, the sunken fisher boat, and managed to get themselves a good spot there. They grabbed it. They did. Mime, though, really did as much as he possibly could. Those grenades, sort of the sacrifice at the end, but the man of the match is going to go to Lou. Only 3 kills on this one.
This is why they celebrated him. They knew already he's going to be the man of the match.
But it's not just this match, sure, but he has been doing really well. I think kind of not only carrying the team, but leading the team's charge in the last couple of matches we've seen so far.
And another match leaderboard where we have 4 teams with double digits here. It is getting very top heavy, and it's funny, and it's good to see that we have Twisted Minds again here, 4 AM. Again, some of these teams that we expect to be up here. They are solidifying themselves once again with just 2 games to go. This is super important for them.
I think this speaks to the value of getting points where you can, though, because the top 2 teams were not the chicken teams. Now let's look at the total leaderboard as it stands right now. We're going to say new happy congratulations for being on top, but we're going to look at the middle. Twisted, E36, the chase going with PLM right there. It is very tight with only 2 games left to play. That's why we're seeing those denials. That's why we're seeing this sort of careful play by the teams on the chase.
Yeah, falling in with 59, and then the tie on the 61 for 9th and 8th place. They're important, of course, but with this momentum here, and as Toby also mentioned himself, with the kind of little talk he had with Xiaopingyang from 4AM, if they get the momentum running, they're going to be confident in them running through the day here. And I feel like with what we know that they're capable of and the kind of the steady points that they're going to have, they're going to be fragging a little bit, they're going to get some placement points. They could be ending up taking over both Purple Mood and Interforce 36 there.
You know, and often we talk about teams that have PGC experience, right? You don't get the jitters. That's not true. You get the jitters. This is the biggest event in PUBG's year, the goal of every team. So there is that. I think even the best players who've been here forever, they still have to sort of get that win under their belt to feel like, okay, this is me at PGC. And I think 4AM looking like they're getting that confidence, and they've been building.
Another one kind of question for me is that Gen G, 17 points behind with 2 games to go. It's a little bit of a rough one. Like that legacy on that team, the dynasty of Gen G, is something we want to see in the winners bracket. I feel like it could be a losers bracket for them with 17 points to go up to 8th place. We have a lot of teams in front of them that's going to be putting up points.
It's going to be a big race. We're headed to the grassy pastures of Erangel next. 2 matches left to play to determine who goes to the winners and who goes to the losers. When we come back from this break, it's time for Erangel. Don't go anywhere.
Unleash my shopping spree.
Duty-free from big brands.
At all King Power stores. And King Power online.
It's possible. Enjoy great selections, promotions, and privileges.
The power of possibilities. King Power.
Hanuman's forces have set up their barrier. They are waiting for sunrise before they release their guard.
Very good. With my magic, the night will turn. Enemies beware. Mayara is coming for you.
ยืนหนึ่งมันไม่ง่ายแต่ไม่ยากที่จะทำแค่ตั้งใจและสนุกกับมันเท่าแก่น้อยตอบโจทย์ทุกไลฟ์สไตล์แบรนด์สาหร่ายยอดขายอันดับหนึ่งถ้าสาหร่ายต้องเท่าแก่น้อย
세븐이 PNC 2023 우승을 했을 때 기분이 어땠나요?
부러웠습니다. 상금 땄으니까 나 10만 원만 달라고.
We're just going to try our best in this tournament, and I think we can do very well as long as we play our own game and just focus on doing what we always do. Cheers.
Here's the weather update for the Rondo area. From the Rondo region, if you've been yearning for the sun after yesterday, please check your flight schedules to ensure your travel plans.
Why did you come to Rondo?
ground.
It's only a perfect victory when the whole team lives. I know where he's going.
Will you make winner's bracket? Will you make loser's bracket? That question is going to be answered in just 2 matches. We're going to head on over to Erangel for the final 2, as we always do. We close out the brackets on the true and tested. I mean, we wouldn't have it any other way. It's getting close, Poro. It is getting really close.
It is. It's impossibly close. I mean, I feel like our bottom 4 teams of the top 8 right now have to be sweating bullets, because there are 4 teams on the other side of that cut line that are well within reach and could turn things around here in 1 game. So, and as you said, we're heading to the map that everybody knows so well. And again, you don't want to leave it to game 6, right?
No,
game 6, it feels like that's when the wheels come off of everything, and it is just terrifying, a terrifying prospect to have to rely on game 6 to be the one that takes you there.
100%. We've seen crazy shenanigans. We've alluded to the fact that maybe some of the teams up in the top will now start harassing other teams in the early game. Yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I should say, we only had Western games up towards Everest, down towards Chopsticks. We have still got plenty of the map to explore here in Group B, but let's see where this second to final Erangel takes us.
The Military Island came into play yesterday. We'll see if maybe it comes back again today. That plane path, not really looking like it's going to send it that way, though.
That'd be spicy if it happened off of this plane path, not gonna lie.
It would be interesting, wouldn't it?
It sure would.
Well, I mean, you're looking at your usual drop spots on this Erangel map for most of these teams. So you look at the teams that are in the top of the leaderboard: New Happy, Asla, Pentagram, Legacy, 17. All the teams that pretty much have things secure, the only teams really that I would say would have things secure, all still look like they're going to their normal spots. So at least no hot drops to be found off the jump here.
Still 1 more left to play after this one, though. Maybe it'll change coming into the final match. But as you're saying right now, it's looking pretty safe. I'm not sure why Pure Boy has joined Gen G, but he is flying in slow over the top of them over towards North George. Enterforce, though, should be very safe there up towards the north. Still 20 seconds to go before this first circle will pop, and again, back-to-back Western ones in the previous one as we hop on out. Maybe a remake in the making?
Could be. Haven't gotten any word just yet, but looks like that might be the case here as we will reset this next game But let's talk about Erigel, Toby.
Production heard you. They're like, wait, casters wanted a milli circle? Wow, we gave them the wrong plane.
Don't put this evil
guys.
on me,
Reset. Pora wanted a milli game. Let's reset it and see if we can do it better second time around.
Oh boy, you want to talk about your nerves are already on edge. If you're in the hunt for this top 8 spot, now all of a sudden you got to go through a whole reset. We haven't got confirmation as to why this is just yet, but either way it's happening. You can see the boys are just kind of relaxing a little bit and just getting back into game, just trying to shake off a little bit of the nerves here.
You know what? I love the fact that we're looking at Starlord right now. The guy said in the bottom right corner of your screen, the in-game leader for Interforce 36. I've had the pleasure of knowing him for a long time now in PUBG. Now that he's in playing Japanese PUBG, I met him today. I asked him, how are you feeling? Like, well, what's it like being back here once again? He was like, oh, I'm nervous. We are underdogs. It doesn't feel good. And I'm like, use this to your advantage. You're the underdog. Go out, have fun, do something great. He looked all nervous all throughout the day. As soon as I saw him after that win on Miramar, all smiles, jumping around like a crazy person with the rest of his teams, you could just tell there was something that flicked within the mentality of that whole roster.
As it should, as it should. When you pull off a win like that in a tournament like this, with this amount, this high of a stakes, that is that's the stuff that memories are made of, as we said before. And multiple times today, Toby, we have seen what are we doing here? As we've seen, it's all about superstar players making the big plays when it matters the most. And obviously we're still in group stages, but we're still on this PGC tournament stage, right? So it's still huge stuff. And as the weeks go by or days go by, it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah, well, one of the teams we're expecting big things from here is NH Esports, formerly known as New Happy, as far as I know. They're fully rebranded now to just NH Esports, just like football is Foot Esports. Everyone just want to use those like acronyms for the names, which is fair.
It's got to be, punchy. You got to be real quick.
It's in the something like that. Yeah, exactly.
I still got to figure out what these patches are on
that
the forehead. It's a cooling patch,
exactly.
right?
It's to keep their heads cool, quite literally, and I understand why. It gets pretty hectic. We're talking about how this lobby is so cerebral. It's all about the 9 billion IQ plays, and if that brain is working overtime, you know what? Cool it down with a band-aid, and while it might look a little fun, if that what's gets you the win, then I'm all for it.
Let's see these guys, all smiles, just hiding behind those smiles though, or it's got to be just frayed nerves as we're heading into these final 2 games. Now, I guess you got to pull back a little bit, right, Toby? Because as much as you want to make sure that you make it into this winners bracket and you make it into the top 8, the fact still remains that if you do make it in the bottom 8, it's not over. You still have another 12 games. So I guess maybe some of these guys not as nervous just yet.
The only danger of falling into losers bracket is, and we've seen it time and time again, we're being impressed right now with teams we didn't expect to see come out playing so well. Pentagram, Legacy up there. Yes, we expected them to come out and, be able to stand their ground, but up there in the top, ahead of 17 Gaming, ahead of Twisted Minds, some of the giants of PUBG Esports, surprising, and that is what global PUBG does to you. That is what these LAN events do to you. Some teams, regardless of their pedigree, will just come out fragging. And even though it's losers bracket, even though some might argue that competition ain't as fierce, because of the pressure, because what all these teams go through both mentally and physically in a tournament like this, because there's a whole health aspect we haven't even dived into, anything can happen. Doesn't matter what your leaderboard ratings are of tournaments in the past, you have to play on the day.
Absolutely, and it feels like we have officially gotten past the days of power regions and invite regions, as we see Batul. I got to tell you the story about Batulins in this neck brace, man.
Yeah,
he told. I was talking to him during breakfast, and I saw him wearing it. I'm like, "What happened, man?" And he's like, "Well, I got to tell you, I went to a Muay Thai boxing championship fight the other night with the rest of the boys, and we were playing, and all of a sudden they got to a match, and there was nobody to fight this guy." And they asked me, they're like, "Oh my God, you've got experience doing this stuff. You get in the ring and fight." And I was like, "Well, I didn't want to at first," but in the end, he ends up getting into the fight with the support of his teammate and his coaches, and he gets in there and he just absolutely mops the floor with this guy, and he takes home the trophy. And as he he's leaving the ring, he slips, falls down, hurts his neck. It was unbelievable. You couldn't believe what happened. He has to wear the brace now.
And you know what the worst thing about it is? We're living in 2023, and yet despite that, not a single video is to be found anywhere
it's crazy.
of that insane Thai boxing match.
It was one of those boxing matches, you know. They don't really
it was head on. You should have seen the other
video in
guy.
there.
You should have seen the other guy. It was
I'm
pretty
telling you,
wild. Yeah.
He won it fair and square, and if it wouldn't have been for that little puddle of water on the corner of the ring when he was stepping out, he would be completely healthy. But needless to say, he's got to wear that neck brace to make sure he's comfortable. I don't know why you're laughing at me right now. This is all true.
It is true.
This is
believe in you.
hand to God. You know, I believed him when he told me this. But
it makes perfect sense. He's a very believable person. And, well, you know what? We did what we had to keep you guys entertained, which means that we are now going to once again head on over to Erangel. At least I'm seeing a plane in the sky. I'm sure you guys will in just a short moment as well, as these players have their headsets on and getting ready to play. And, well, again, just 2 games away from determining which 8 will make winners bracket and which 8 will have to fight for their lives down in the losers bracket.
Well, if you were disappointed that the plane last time was from west to east, let me tell you something. You're going to be happy now because the plane is from east to west.
That is true.
Following roughly the same path. It looks like we're probably still also not going to get a military circle off of this
remake
one.
again. Remake again.
Oh, come on.
They got to redo it.
Did I do it again?
No.
Oh,
it was just me saying that they're asking for it now.
Batulin's going to kick my
Which he can, because he's a great Thai boxing fighter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Dangerous man to be in our eye, that is for sure. But as you said, pretty much as fair as can be when it comes to plane paths. It looks very good across the board. No hot drops in the previous one that were to be remade. I'm not expecting this one to be any different.
Doesn't look like anybody's going down a milli this time around, as all our alt-droppists may have gone to points north, as PMA still has their Milta spot. PLM, why PMA and PLM right next to each other? It had to be that way, didn't it? But it looks like the coast is going to be as far south as we see. And now it's just a question of where the circle's going to go. Let's hug on over towards the west.
So far in this group, for those of you guys who, for reasons unknown to me, didn't watch day 1 of Group B, we can tell you this. I'm a statistics genius, and I can tell you that Pentagram currently has a 100% win rate on Erangel. And this circle, well, it's looking pretty good. Now, what I will do if I'm a player in this lobby, having seen the previous 2 Erangels go to this exact area of the map, is go center early. I've said it before earlier in the day, and we are seeing more and more teams do it, but Pentagram got to maintain a split yesterday, or the day before yesterday, that was Gatka, north of Gatka, Chopsticks, and the West Side Hills until phase 4. And I'm like, that's illegal. Global PUBG, that is illegal. You cannot sit on that much real estate, circle center, for that long. So I sincerely hope that teams will challenge them on that now.
That's pretty brazen, but that being said, it was the first 2 games of group play, right? So,
that is, true.
So, you know, teams were more